Hey everyone, sorry about the little bit of late start. We had a little bit of technical difficulties starting today, but we're finally here. JW Sims, one of your hosts of the Comic Book Geeks podcast. With me tonight, we have Demon Phil Lockler. Maybe. There we go. How you doing, Phil?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
Well, could use about another 2 hours before the show started, but that's another story. And I'm assuming we're going to have Specs with us at some point, maybe in the chat, maybe who knows with Specs, you know. So, but what a week, huh? This is crazy. So, obviously, everyone knows Thor came out this past week. We'll get to that because we want to make sure people have time to leave if they don't want to get spoilers.
Exactly.
We'll talk a little bit about that, but also a lot of shows have been like ending and season finales, uh, and new shows starting this week. So it's been crazy trying to keep up with everything. Um, and you said that you uh, got to finish The Boys, right?
Yeah, The Boys is finished along with Stranger Things. And then I did read that Stranger Things did get signed on for one final season, but they're going to do the all too familiar part one, part two. So it'll basically be a 2-year setup on it. So at least we got 2 more years of Stranger Things coming up. So I'm interested to see how they're going to do that, because if they wait too long, these high school boys are going to be 30 years old by the time we have them showing up on the show.
Something's going on with my computer. I don't know, but I think we're fixed now. I hope. Oh my lord! All right. I don't know what's going on tonight. It's crazy, but yeah, I think we're
I
good
cannot
now.
be blamed for this one.
Maybe. This is like, I don't know. I'm getting sounds. I'm getting all kinds of stuff. All right.
Is it coming through?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
All right. I didn't know because it's kind of like choppy. I don't know if my internet's. Well, how about do some editing this week? That's for sure. Just trying to get. Seems like my internet just does not want to work with me today for some reason.
You got to feed that hamster. It runs in that wheel every once in a while.
These computers don't like me today. We should just start over. Are we good now? I think we're good for at least a minute anyway. I keep losing people because my internet keeps dropping. But anywho, so you were saying you got to see The Boys, and then what else were you saying that you got to
The
watch?
Boys and Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, that's where we were.
Yeah, finished up both of those. Definitely looking forward to what else they're going to be bringing to the table with those. But anyone who's out there who has seen Stranger Things, tell me that was not the best freaking finale to a series so far right now.
I am so far behind. I've been, oh my God, the other day I was going through and I realized I've only seen half of the season of SVU this year, so I gotta catch up on that. And I'm usually like on top of that one. For some reason, like I haven't watched any of the CW shows this season at all. So I'm like way behind those. I think, are they over now? Like, is the season done on those?
So I think they're no longer doing. You're talking about the superhero ones, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I think they canceled all of them except for Arrow. I think Arrow is still going.
No, Arrow ended a while ago. It was the first one to go.
There was
Flash.
Flash maybe is the one that they're going one more season and that's it.
Yeah.
But I can't remember. I know that they canceled all the rest of them because
there's Specs.
The time travel one. What's the name of that one?
Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, Legends of Tomorrow.
Best one.
Yep. Supergirl was canceled.
Yeah, well, that ended like last season. So
right.
Because she wanted to go have a family and all that stuff. I know they canceled Batgirl or Batwoman, whatever it was. They moved the one back to HBO. So, but Specs is here.
Yo.
Six.
Hey, you didn't miss nothing except for me having technical difficulties trying to get
Oh.
everything set up. So
Sound
you're
like
all good.
Sound like a regular Wednesday.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I'm gonna. So we were just talking about any of things like the shows that had ended this season, like in the past week, and there's some other new shows that'll be starting this week. So did you get to see any of the season finales?
I saw The Boys. I haven't seen Miss Marvel yet.
That's we're on the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but TV show wise, yeah, I haven't been on TV like that. But I'm trying to get into that one movie with Ryan Reynolds where he's meet his past self, I mean his like his little kid self, and
Oh yeah. I can't remember what that's called
On Netflix.
yeah, I want to watch that.
Yeah, that's really good, actually.
Yeah,
It looks interesting. Now, does he play a character or does he play Ryan Reynolds in that movie?
Pretty much Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Okay. Because that's all he ever plays. That's why I'm.
And what's
wondering.
great is the kid that's in there that's supposed to be his younger version of himself. It's like a 12-year-old or whatever. It's like a 12-year-old Ryan Reynolds. It is phenomenal.
Well, at least they got that right. Turned down my light a little bit. I was blinding myself. I looked like a ghost. I'm pale enough as it is. I don't need to. But yeah, and like I said, the Resident Evil show is on Netflix this Friday, and I think they dropped that all at once, so you'll be able to stream through that. I've heard some mixed.
Well, it might not be because Stranger Things wasn't all in one. I don't think, was it?
Well, they broke it in two halves, but
Okay.
they dropped everything. Because I've read a lot of things where people have already seen the whole first season, like reviews, and I've heard some mixed things about that show. It's like trying to figure out where it fits in the timeline, and because it kind of goes along with the games, but then it doesn't, and it like takes place in two different years, like takes place in 2022 and then like 2036.
I heard it was 0 and 1. Like Resident Evil 0 and
No, because it has Wesker, but
he was in 0 and 1.
Yeah, but he's a black guy, and they explain how he's still alive, and how and he has twin daughters. So it's like this whole like part of it takes.
I guess they're not pulling for the source material, huh?
No.
Exactly.
And it like the first half takes place in 2022, and it's like deals with Umbrella Corp, and the second part, well, it's not parts like they flip back and forth, but the other part of it is in 2036, and it's like in Europe somewhere, and it's his daughters trying to survive they call them the Zeros. That's what the zombies are called in there, the Zeros.
Yeah, it sounds like a Cowboy Bebop situation.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. I like Resident Evil, even those movies that weren't Resident Evil. They just used the name.
Pretty much.
Except for the first one. The first one at least had the mansion and stuff in it. But so I don't know. Anything else? Any news this week? I was trying to think of any that I'd seen. Any
they're naming casting, and they're giving hints toward casting for some of the Marvel stuff that's coming out. Some of it is confirmed, some of it is not. There's just different things. I know they confirmed because she's also because she was Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot is going to be doing Cleopatra.
I did see that. I saw.
Yeah, and it's the same directors from
Wonder Woman.
No, it was another hero. What was it?
You say Cleopatra?
Yeah, Cleopatra.
A Marvel character?
No.
The directors are from another Marvel series, and I can't remember which one. Falcon and Winter Soldier. They're the same directors from that. They're doing Cleopatra.
I think they're gonna hate on her being Cleopatra.
Yeah, we'll see. Who knows?
How things been going? I don't think they don't like that too much.
But yeah, because I know they said a lot of the of course Disney stuff, they have D23 in September, and that's when they expect a lot, because Kevin Feige came out and said like they're almost to the end of phase 4, and I think that's a lot of people's big complaint is it's like rudderless right now. Like we don't know, like none of the movies, nothing's interconnected, and
Well, that's how phase 1 was. So I don't see why people complaining.
well, not really, because the end scene. Do you remember phase 1? You started and you had like the movies themselves were separate, but the post credit scenes tied each one to the other ones. So you had like Tony show up at the end of Hulk, and you had Fury show up at the end of
Infinity Stone show up at the end of one of them, that kind of thing. Yeah.
So where it kind of where these ones are kind of this phase, they're introducing new characters at the end of all of them. Like that's and there's like no connection to anything else. So it's like, what's going on? And plus, I think in this phase, every movie and the shows are all different genres.
Yes.
Whereas in the phase 1 and stuff, you had just superhero movies. Like that's just they were.
Oh, same movie, different character. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Like you had the same plot through them all. It's all like the introduction of the characters, and now they're all like, you have a horror movie, you have a rom-com, you have all these things. Yeah, I mean, you have everything. So, but Wendy Gale says hi.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know the whole. Like, I'm sure we'll know a lot more of that. I know some stuff is leaked, like the trailer for the 3rd season of Mandalorian leaked online.
Yep.
You saw the cruise ship leak?
Yeah. Yes. Trying to think what else. There was a couple other things I saw, but I can't quite remember offhand. But yeah. So
entertainment wise, and this it was in a comic book as well for a little while. The Munsters, they went ahead and released the trailer for it.
Oh yeah.
It has the same name as the series. I'm going to go ahead and put it at that. At least they kept it that much in there.
Yeah. It's Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
So that's, just think of his Halloween. It was
right.
Michael Myers.
So the Monsters, like the sitcom, right?
Yeah,
right.
the Munsters, yeah.
Yeah.
His wife.
So it's actually a comedy. It's a comedy.
Okay. Hey, I said Rob Zombie. I was like,
is they gonna make the Munsters into a horror movie?
Exactly. I mean, it's you have to watch the trailer, because I watched it and I was just kind of sitting here going, how does that work exactly? I mean, I know the name having Rob Zombie attached to it is supposed to be a big deal, but I'm just not seeing the influence on there. Like whenever you saw Halloween, like you said, immediately you think of that with him because of his horror influence. That's not a part of this, and I'm not sure how that's going to exactly work.
Yeah, we'll see.
If it's anything like the trailer, what's trending on that one?
People like that. Just, they'll see it just because of Rob Zombie, and then they'll complain anyway. So, like,
speaking of complaining, are we going to be talking about Thor later on too?
yeah. We'll talk about Thor. But I think we're gonna go ahead. I gotta bring up my list of the comic books. First, we'll do like the ones that we picked. Like this week, I read. Gotta find what I read. Holy crap! I forgot to write it down. What was that? Metal Society #3.
Yep.
Actually, the first week we were supposed to have the show, Metal Society #1 was on our reading list. So I don't know if anyone remembers that book, but it takes place like in a dystopian future where humans have been extinct and the robots have taken over the world, and the robots decide to bring back humans to be like their garbage men is the best way to say it. So because just to do jobs that the robots didn't want to do anymore. And so in this world, especially when you're reading it, you can see the rules have really reversed, and the robots have really taken on like the rules of humans, I guess, because it's the humans decide that they want to be able to work and be like equals, and they can do construction work. So they give these group of humans a construction job, and they end up firing the robots. So now the robots are complaining because these humans are still in their jobs, and and so the one robot, his name looks like Wolverine. It's like WOL 3113. I don't even know, but it kind of looks like it says Wolverine to me anyway. But he was made to be a construction robot, and now he's a maintenance robot. So another big thing that they do in that society is the robots fight each other, just like boxing or wrestling here, in our society. If the robots have a dispute, they fight each other. So he's on this talk show or his call-in radio show complaining the humans have taken his job and how bad it is. And then he challenges the one lady who's like the spokesperson for the humans into a fight. And he wants to, this boxing match, you might as well say. And so it just shows that whole dynamic of it. And when he first starts training, he doesn't want any of the enhancements or anything. He wants to face her, as he is. But in this society, a lot of the things you have depends on how much work you can do. And since he doesn't have his job, he loses his house. But it's not really, it's like the place where he recharges, they call it. He lost his job, he lost his house, and he lost his woman. So that's so now he goes to see her, and she's like, the only way I'll come back to you is if you win this fight and make this a permanent thing. So now he wants to like kill this woman because he wants to have his woman back. So that's issue 3. Issue 4, I guess, is when we're finally going to see the fight. Each of the covers have been really neat. Like the first cover was split in half, and you saw the robot's face and the girl's face. The second issue was like the robot's face, and I can't remember another one with the girls. So they've shown you like stories from each of their sides. And the cover for the fourth one just shows a robot crowd and a human crowd. So I assume that's when they get the fight in the fourth issue. The colors are really neat how they do it. All the robot stuff is very cool colors, blues and greens. And any of the human stuff is all done in warm colors. So just by looking at it, you can really tell the scenes. But that's a neat book. It was difficult to read at some points just because it gets wordy, and I'm not I need to go to the Zoolander school for people who don't read good.
But you're an editor.
So it's a little bit. So, but then the other book I read was the Captain America #2. I'm still trying to figure out what this story is, like where they're going with this. It's something about, they keep saying the shield. It's not his symbol; it's their symbol, and you're starting to see there's this group of villains. You don't see who they are, but they have like these weird names, like the Machine, the Love, the Revolution. Yeah. All you see is their silhouettes, and they're represented by the points on the star.
Yep.
And there's a big reveal at the end of this issue. And it took me a second to realize. I mean, I knew who it was, but to realize why it was a big, because I don't. It's somebody who's been like in the MCU all over the place recently, so I think that's the reason why it didn't occur to me that she shouldn't have been there.
Right.
So I wonder where this is going. I don't know, like how long of how many. I mean, obviously it's probably just a story, like a story arc, and then they'll reboot it with Captain America #1 again or something. But Captain America, like I always say, Wolverine's my favorite superhero. I think he's my favorite comic book character, where Captain America is my favorite superhero, because I don't think Wolverine's a superhero. So, I mean, I always like Cap. I like to read that. So I'll keep reading this so I can figure out what's going on, who these characters are, and what this group is. Like, it was very hard. I don't know if you guys read it. Like, just try to figure out the story. I'm like, what is going on? Like, but hopefully it pays off.
It's got a lot of buildup. I thought it was only going to build in the first issue, and it's still building in the second. So I don't know where the payoff is going to be.
Yeah. And obviously Bucky's off doing his own kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because he gives back the Matterport there at the end.
Yeah.
But I think those were the two I read this week. What did you read this week, Phil?
The one I had was Twig. It's Twig number 3. Scotty Young is the creator and artist for it. And if y'all know, Scotty Young done a lot of stuff with caricature-looking drawings that he's done for Marvel, especially, but for some other things that are out there. This story is fun. It is just a lighthearted, fun story about just some creatures and trying to figure out how to do things. And of course, things go wrong. Never can quite fix what's going on, and it leads into another adventure, and it's all leading to the end of creation if he doesn't complete this quest. But he doesn't even know what the quest is, and he can't figure out how to find out exactly what the quest is, because the one being that was supposed to lead him in that direction dies, and now he's kind of, alone and trying to figure things out. The cool thing about this whole thing, though, is that you look through each one of these books, it's the amount of detail that goes into each of the frames that are in there for each of the parts of the world that he's going through is phenomenal. It is one of those things that just draws you into what's going on, and it is such a fallible, there's no way it could happen, character out there, but you're so drawn into this world that you forget you're reading a comic for a little while. I mean, I felt like I had a twig growing out of the top of my head by the end of this thing. It was great. I've already got the planting field right there, so it's almost there. But but it was a great story, and I love the way that it's going with this. I believe he's got it as a 5-issue series, is what I thought I read on there. We're on number 3, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what the rest of it's on here. But if you're looking for a heartfelt, just fun read, it's great. It is all ages, but they do have some things that are innuendo in there that the adults will be like, wow, they actually put that in there. It'll fly right through. The kids won't catch on. You're good. So it's great, though. Definitely pick it up and take a look at it.
Yeah. I am waiting, because I've seen in one of the Image books I was reading that Scotty Young is coming back, like, with a second volume of I Hate Fairyland.
Yes.
I love that book, and I'm so glad that that's coming back.
Oh, yes.
That's one of his best. I mean, that and Oz. I loved Oz. Some of the good stuff. So that was the book you read this week?
Yeah, that was mine for this week.
And what did you have this week, Specs?
I had Naomi, but I didn't read it. I just literally just skimmed through it real quick. But I did read an old comic series, well, 2 of them basically. It's called A Call. Well, where they had to remarket it. Well, it was called Call of Duty. I guess the game series made it, so it had.
Yeah, I know that.
Call. But that was an interesting book, man. Like I believe Marvel should pick it up with a better writer, because some was pretty wonky. But like the premise of it was pretty good, because if it's the same storyline involving this little girl that keep popping up, and it follows a police officer. I believe it was a paramedic. I don't know if it was just a driver of the ambulance or what. But I'm pretty sure it was an EMT and a firefighter. And it was a pretty good story. It just ended. It then continued pretty wonky. But it'll probably be pretty good. Like if they combined it with damage control, like it'd be something like that. Because it seemed like it took away from the Marvel universe. But then every now and then, somebody said a little nod to something that if you're a Marvel reader, you'll know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But I think, well, I'm writing a Firefly story right now, so that's why I read it. But it'd be great if they placed it in the world, like it's regular heroes, involving with like the something that's going on with Doctor Doom or some minor person, like I don't know who the Marvel universe would be, something minor, like Shocker or something, like they have to deal with him themselves.
Yeah.
But it's pretty good story. The sequel was pretty weird because that character I didn't like at the end of the first one. Then they brought her back, and I was like, that's a stupid character to bring back to have a story with. But it was all right. But when Niobe, when I had it for the first time, I was reading her book at first, and I stopped. But I read everything to read The Queen of Amazon #1, and it was basically, it seemed like DC don't know what to do. Like that first story arc was crap. It was a whole bunch of nothing with nothing, and then when you go to Trial of the Amazons, it doesn't matter. Then you go to Queen of the Amazons, it doesn't matter. Like they give you little nods to things that you read the books previously, but it really doesn't matter. Like nothing holds weight, especially now since the Dark Crisis. Nothing in these books hold weight. It just basically just fill a story with, if you know, and that's it. But the newer story arc, the Queen of Amazon, is written better, and I guess because it involved more the other Justice League characters, it seems like it's going to be a better story because the Batman thing in the last issue.
Yeah,
he thought it was like didn't know anything about technology and stuff. Was pretty cool. And how Hawk Girl wants to learn more about Niobe and the Amazons. I thought it was pretty cool because I would have thought she would know more because she just keep dying and reborn and whatnot. But apparently she loses her memory. But that's great. And are we gonna talk about Dark Crisis? Because
we're gonna
we also had Black Adam. Who read that one?
That was John's book.
Okay, because I read that one too.
I didn't get to that one.
Now, is that based on a movie or is it?
Yeah, it's the prequels. They're putting out like one of those every so often to get ready for the Black Adam comic book. I mean, the Black Adam movie that comes out next month.
I mean, if it's actually the prequel, then they need to rename this thing to Hawkman movie, not Black Adam.
They're doing
the issue.
Yeah, they're doing the Justice Society members.
Yeah,
because they're in the movie. So each of them have a book. Like I think the next one's Atom Smasher, and then they do one for Dr. Fate.
Yeah,
and I think it's just for people to get kind of the backstory on those characters.
Well, it was definitely it was a twisted book because I mean it's a mind warp, the whole thing. If you leave your place in it and try to come back to it later on, you're out of luck on that one. You need to actually go through this whole thing in one fell swoop. Otherwise, you're going to be lost as all kind of get out. I had to go back and kind of reread a few things to find out what was going on because so much was happening where trapped in his own mind, trapped in something else. Someone else was trapped in his mind with him. And it's all kinds of messed up. And you really just have to read it and try to figure it out. I don't want to give the spoilers that are on there, but Hawkman gets trapped, for lack of better terms, and has to figure out a way out of this. And I know there's been a lot of comics with superheroes being trapped and everything. This is a different way of being trapped, and it really messes with you on that. The whole Black Adam thing doesn't actually play into this until the very end. You get the first prequel into the movie because you actually see what's happening on the planet while they're slaves, and that's where it kind of leaves it. So we know already from the previews we've seen and everything, that's what happens with Black Adam's movie anyway. So you know what's going on, but that's not until the end of the comic, and it's the after thing. So if you're looking at this as a Black Adam book, it is not. It is a Hawkman book, but it has the Black Adam prequel in the back of it. So just make sure you keep that in mind whenever you're taking a look at it. But again, I'm not a DC guy, and this is actually a good one. So I'm going to tell you right now, y'all need to get it.
Yeah. Yeah, if I remember right, John was the one who wanted us to keep talking about the Dark Crisis books, and now this is the second installment of Dark Crisis that he hasn't been here for in a row. But we did read Dark Crisis number 2 this week. This is finally, I think, starting to let us know what's going on with this crisis. Like for the first half of the book, like I've read the first issue 1. We did the 2 tie-ins a couple weeks ago, and now partway through this book, I'm like, this is issue 2 out of 7, and I still have no idea what the crisis is. Like, what's going on? Until you find out the Pariah, is that his name? He is trying to bring back all the multiverses. He wants all the worlds back, whereas Crisis on Infinite Earths, they got rid of all the Infinite Earths. Now he's trying to bring them back, but to bring them back, he has to destroy Earth Zero, which is the main Earth now. So I don't know if this is DC's a way to like try to bring all this old stuff back, and so they can just do whatever they want, kind of stuff again, not having any continuity.
But to me, it's like this is why people like don't get the comic books like this storyline right here. Like even I had to go back and figure out what's going on because I'm reading Titans and I'm reading Robin, and that whole thing with Nightwing, I don't know where that happened at. Because I literally went and read Shadow War Alpha or Omega to see what happened, and even in that book, it was like, boom, okay, time to go do this. It didn't explain anything what happened.
Yeah, because even like issue or that Titans tie-in that we had, they had like that. I don't even know, was that a Titans tie-in? I don't know, but you saw like Deathstroke leading the bad guys to Titan Tower, and now this one opens up and like everybody's like beaten up, and it's like, well, we're just gonna skip over the fight? Like,
it's skipped over a lot. It like if you're literally reading Robin, right, or Batman, or Deathstroke, either one of them 3 books, and you came to Shadow War, then right after Shadow War, you went to this event. It's a huge gap. Like it don't.
Well, a lot of, I think, Deathstroke Incorporated, is that what that book was called?
Yes.
It led into this a lot better because you saw Deathstroke become the villain again, and take over that.
It don't tell him how he wanted to get the Army of Darkness or it just him get he just him, okay, the whole thing against Ra's al Ghul and Batman. Then the villains put him in the Lazarus pit, and they're like, "Are we gonna go kill him?" They're like, "No, we got another mission. I got a contract." They're like, "Who gave you the contract? Why are you doing this? Why are you?" Like,
we have no idea how he became like to work for the darkness. Like, it doesn't tell us anywhere how that came about. Like, what?
Yeah, I want to say, was it something in Future State that we just missed it, or I don't know, because we still need Deathwing.
Yeah.
So that's still missing. So
because that was in the Titans Academy one, wasn't it? Or the
Then going back to the Titans thing, okay, if he shot Beast Boy in the head, right? But later on, Cyborg stopped Cyborg Superman. But doesn't he have a bullet in his head though? So how's he able to still stop him?
Oh, they said he shot him in the face, but he's still alive. That's what he said.
Raven drug him off.
I know, but they said that in the book when he drops him, he said, "We shot him in the face. He'll be alive. He'll just not. He'll just."
But Cyborg is fine. I'm trying to say Cyborg is fine. That's wrong. Remember, they're the same person.
Yeah.
You said spell, so look at 2 people. So Cyborg should be jacked up too. That's what I'm saying. Like he's not jacked up.
Yeah, I don't know. DC gets confusing.
Is it the editors got a problem or what? And the Green Lantern thing too. Like, I'm a Kyle Rayner fan, so I've been following him. So okay, he went from the Titans to Justly Odyssey, then he just vanished.
Yeah, he's in prison. Like,
Yeah. How you got in prison?
Where's that story at? Like,
Yeah. It just
yeah.
it's a whole bunch of like just random gaps, unless it's doing some Infinite Frontier stuff, and these are old storylines that happened that never finished, and they just blended together. And oh yeah, back in 2005, he went to jail, but we just making everything current. Yeah,
It makes no sense to me. Like, I don't know how the.
Then why they find? Did you ever find out why they're looking for Barry?
Oh, they're looking for Barry. Yeah,
but wasn't he fighting with everybody else though?
I don't know. I didn't read that Justice League is dead thing, or the death of Justice League. So
was it Justice League dead or Justice or Dark Crisis Zero?
Well, he was already gone because he's been gone in the Flash for a little while.
Yeah,
Wally's been the Flash. In the Flash.
Yeah, so like stuff like that. I'm pretty sure he was fighting with him. Maybe like some last ditch effort thing. It was like, wow, they go back in time type thing, or Speed Force. But I don't know, man. This it looks good with Black Adam and leading the Justice League and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. It's just I see why people read manga. I just see why.
Oh man. And then we
have independents to read too. I mean, there's some good indies out there.
You see, you can go use indie book but you I want to catch up with DC. Oh, they got an event going on right now. This would be the perfect time to join in. But you're like, get in this, it's like, what? What's going on? How many Green Lanterns is it? Like, it just When this one Batman, he's not even involved in the Justice League at all, but he's still Batman, and this Batman's dead, and it's 5 Flash.
Oh, well, yeah. So we will continue to follow this and try to figure out what's going on. What's DC's plan for after this crisis? What they're I mean, do they have a plan? Do they are they just trying to throw out a bunch of stuff and hope something sticks? I don't know.
You said you're reading the Flash though, right?
Yeah.
Has that non-binary Flash came yet?
The girl like that.
Yeah, Kit.
Not in the actual Flash book. They were in that other book.
So we still need that too. So
yeah.
So you got the one for Teen Titans that's running around. This one supposed to pop up. So that's gonna be.
Oh yeah, the one on Teen Titans that doesn't have legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a speedster without legs. Get that one.
They said I don't know why I read it, but it says she has to run faster than them because she got no legs.
Yeah.
So if she had legs, she'd be faster than Wally.
Yeah. She would be the fastest one. But all right. So one of the first books we did as a group this week, I'm just going down the order I've written down, is Prodigy, the Icarus Society, and that is a Mark Millar book. So obviously this is probably going to be a movie or a show because everything Mark Millar writes gets made into something. Which I did not know this is actually the second volume of this Prodigy kind of series. I went back and because at the end they show all of Mark Millar's stuff in the book, and I was like, oh, there's another Prodigy. So I went back and I was like, oh, I have this. I never read it. So, but luckily you don't need to have read that first one, I think, to know what's going on here. This is a character who I don't know how, I don't know if he's the
sexiest guy. That's what he is.
He just can, I don't know. He's like a human computer.
Most interesting man ever. He does whatever.
Yeah. But he just the line where his dad's like, here's your inheritance, and throws him $1. And he's like, good, I'll use this to make $1 billion by the end of the year. And he's like 12. I'm like, what?
What got me was the cheetah thing. He was like, yeah, I close the gap every day.
He's he's running as fast as a cheetah. And the doctor who put ape hands on his The night before, I just did this last night because apes' hands are more dexterous. And I'm like, what is up with this story?
Yeah.
So you said you read the previous ones or no?
No, I didn't realize there was a
like,
previous one until I seen that. I went back and was like, oh, I have it. I just never read it.
This has to be a different vibe or something he's going for in these books than the previous one. Because if the previous one was like this, I don't know how they're making the sequel. Because it's like he does whatever. He's like, they might as well do a John Wick versus him crossover. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. The story just took me out of this story. Like, the stuff he was able to do just took me out of the story. It's like, really? Like,
yeah, he's like more super than Superman.
Oh yeah, he's watching 1,000 channels on top of his assistants reading him the latest book he wants to read while he's benching 550 on the and I believe he's getting ready to do surgery. I forgot what their people was doing at the table, but yeah. He knew that one guy had cancer or something wrong with his legs by the way he was standing, and
he solved that crime without even like
Unsolved Mysteries. Yeah,
he's watching Unsolved Mysteries, and he said, "Call the police." He's in the neighbor, whatever the neighbor did it. He's buried in the fuel tank in the backyard. Like, what?
Oh yeah. Then he wrote a documentary on the guy from King Kong who Hitler liked.
From Clark Gable.
And he had 3 credits.
And he wrote the whole stories that would be in the book, like the movies.
He did all this in 55 minutes.
Yeah, and then he deleted it from his mind. You remember? He's like, then I deleted it from my mind.
Yeah, like oh my god, like
I mean, usually Mark Millar's stuff I get into a lot more. It was an interesting read. I'm interested on where this story's going because obviously the 8-hand man is even better than he is.
It's a whole society. He says more people.
Yeah, it's the whole society of them, the Icarus Society.
But it sounds like a jigsaw type of thing because the video is pre-recorded, so like he's still in jail.
But he's so smart that he knew he knew that this would happen, and he knew exactly what he was going to say, so he could record the thing and take the right pauses and give the right answers because he knew that's what the guy was going to say. So it's just very interesting what the heck is this trying to do. But it's I could see it as a movie kind of story. That's
as a series, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
His Twitter actually says Netflix, the Netflix official Twitter of Mark
Millar.
Yeah,
because he has a deal with the Millarverse has a deal with Netflix. He signed that years ago.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, but some of his stuff still gets everything he does. Like if you look on that back of all that stuff he's done, aside from the Marvel stuff, like everything that he's done on his own has been made into something.
Wait, the Marvel is a movie?
Yeah, but I mean, he did like all this other Marvel stuff. He did like Ultimate X-Men. He did the Ultimate Fantastic Four. He did, a bunch of Marvel stuff. But I'm sure some of his Marvel stories have been found their way in the MCU. But I mean, actually, like he did he did Kick-Ass. He did, Chrononauts, which I'm still waiting for because I love that story. I mean, just anything you could think of. Like some of the stuff, like I didn't even realize that Mark Millar did. The Kingsman. There's so much stuff.
Yeah, the Kingsman got me, and Super Crooks.
Super Crooks. There's another one that was, So like everything he writes gets made into something. So I'm sure we'll see this in a couple of years too, if they're already working on the first Prodigy. So what did you think of it, Phil?
I thought, from a standpoint of just like a chess match going on, if you look at it from that way, it's kind of cool the way that they have the chess pieces moving around. You can kind of see, I'll move here, I'll move there type thing. I like that. It was way too far-fetched. At the beginning, I was kind of like, okay, so it's a Tony Stark without a suit, but then can run faster than a cheetah and can bench 550, without a suit, and all this other stuff that was going on, and they just kept adding in more and more, and it was like, how much more can he do better than everybody else?
Or one thing confused me. Did he hire them people to kidnap him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Just to keep on track of what he was doing and stay on edge, because they beat the crap out of him to find out something about him. He didn't know the answer to it, and then he had to figure out a way to escape there.
Well, because then he wanted to know who hired them, and then we didn't know who hired us, I guess.
Yeah, and whenever he did escape, and then he had beaten the guy or whatever up low, he's sitting out there, and they're like, who actually hired him, and he's like, that's the funny thing, I hired you. Yeah, exactly. It's all over the place. Like I said, if you look at it from the chess move standpoint, it's very interesting that way. But it's just above and beyond on the believability factor.
Yeah, very much so. The next book we read was Liam Sharp's Starhenge from Image. Now, I was looking forward to this book because I'm a big Liam Sharp fan. I go back to when he was working for Marvel UK and doing Death's Head 2 back in the 90s. So I've really followed like some of the stuff he's done, and I follow him on all the things, and he's really was excited about this book, and I guess it's got some good reviews from everyone. I had trouble with this book. I don't know what it's about. His art style changes 50,000 times in the book. Some of them are painted, some are drawn, some are. Anything I can understand is it takes place in 3 different times, and it's about a guy and a girl. I mean, what I figured is those 2 characters. The ones are like in the middle time period. The one who's a football player and she's from England. They're also the character from in the future that's like a cyborg type guy. I don't know. And then it also has Merlin. So I'm confused. I don't know what this book is. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you guys understood a little bit better than me. Maybe it's my, I can't read good kind of thing, but I had trouble with it.
Well, I read it when you first put it in the thing, and I didn't retain anything. So, like, when I went to go look through the stuff today, I was like, did I read this book? Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe as the story goes on, it gets better. Maybe.
Well, like you said, that he changes up his style so much in there, and that is kind of it does take away from the story quite a bit. The visuals, the visual aspect of it.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful book.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. The lettering specs keeps falling off the.
Yeah, his phone's drunk or something.
Don't jump. It's not that bad of a book. Don't jump. No, the lettering threw me off too, because where it's positioned and how it's positioned in there, I had to go back and reread several times over just to find out, to make sure I was in the right track, especially because it does jump around time periods quite a bit. They'll be talking about a time period that you just left 2 pages before on a new one here with all the space stuff and everything on here, and they're talking about something that's happening in the 2000s or whatever the time period was. And it really throws you off if you're not paying attention to it. That was my only concern with it. I mean, if it had been better lettering, and if they would have stuck with some form of format on here, I think it would have been a great book for that. I'm interested to see where it's going to go story-wise, but they're really going to have to clean that up, is what I would think would actually help with that.
Yeah, I mean, I like the whole sci-fi mixed with the magic part of it. So you're gonna it kind of shows how I guess he went back in time to find magic to save the future.
Right.
I mean that's what I am trying to get from the story.
Do you think that the artwork is some kind of artistic thing with the story? That's why I like that.
That's what I'm wondering.
If you follow Liam Sharp at all, like his art style has really changed over the years. Like when he started out, it was just very much '90s comic book art. Like he just did a run. He might even still be on it on Green Lantern season 1 and season 2, which I don't know if it's still running in DC. And he was the artist on those, and you could see how his art was sort of changing. Well, in this one, it's like a bunch of different stuff. Now it'd be different, like if all the future stuff was painted and all the modern day stuff was this style, and all the Arthur, the Age of Arthur was a different style. So that way, visually, you could like keep track of what's what. But it seems like he blends it all, and it's really hard to like differentiate the time slips, or the changes in the time period. I mean, I like the way that the story's told and how the girl is kind of telling the story and how she, like, she's telling you. I mean, it gets a little confusing then too, because she goes, "This is how it was," or "This is how it is was,"
Right.
So it's like, wait, what's going on? But yeah, I'll try to read the second one and see if it helps. But it's hard for me to get through as someone who, like I said, is not a good reader. Yeah, so if you have a reading disability, it's probably not a good book to try to read. But then we go to That Texas Blood number 15. We did all Image books this week. I don't know. I didn't even realize that until today when I was putting stuff together. I was like, oh, we had 3 Image books. But That Texas Blood number 15, it continued the story arc that we started in 14 with the Red Queen murderer, I guess, serial killer. This book, it's a very slow burn. Did you know? Like the first scene in issue 14 was good. Like it was like a horror movie. You got the slasher stuff, and now it's very slow building.
Yeah, loud dialogue.
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of what do they call it, exposition in this book. I just want to like get on with the story, like what's going to happen, like I think the whole serial killer thing is like what the heck, it's not the main gist of the story. I think it's going to end up being just something that's there as like, what do they call that,
background?
No, it's a story thing where it's something that seems important but it's really not important in the story. Yeah, my brain just doesn't work.
Like the zombies in Walking Dead, right?
Yeah, like that, where it looks like it's important, but really it's not. Like it's just. So I think it's just a story device, like to try to help the story along. I don't think it's gonna like. I think it's more about that police chief, whatever he is, and all the crap we read about in the first issue, and about how he doesn't really want to be the chief, but he's kind of like stuck with it. And
wasn't an election going on?
Yeah, something. There's
yeah.
So I don't know. So what did you guys think?
I mean, I didn't care for it. It was just too much to read through. I mean, it's almost like reading a novel is what I felt like, and I just couldn't get involved enough with it. It didn't grip me enough to actually. It wasn't a page turner to me. It was more of a, okay, if I got to figure out what's going on, let me go ahead and click through and find out what's going on with this. But it just would never grab a hold of me and take me. 14, whenever we did that one, kind of because of the main, the beginning of it was kind of like, this is what we're getting involved in, and this is what's about to happen. With this one, it was more of a, this is the story that we're going into and going with story. And it's like, I can deal with some story, yes, but let's get to some of the actual, meat and bones about what's going on.
Yeah, and they. I don't know if you really need to read the rest of the issues, the other 13 that we didn't read. But as far as I know, it doesn't. It's not linear like that. Each story is kind of self-contained. The main character of this book series is that county that they live in,
Right.
and so the stories take place at different time periods, all in that county. So it just seems like there's characters that they mentioned. It seems like we should know who they are. Like the guy who works for the state police that he was talking to on the phone.
Right.
It seems like we should have known who that was because everybody else knew who that was. But I was like, what's so special about this guy?
Right.
Like maybe I'm thinking like if this wasn't written for television, maybe they wrote this for like be read as a graphic novel. Like
To get the whole story at one time.
yeah, and since they doing it issue by issue, it's just a slow burn, like you said. But
Kind of like Marvel writes.
yeah, and it's just I don't know. It's just yeah, it's like Marvel, like the TV shows. This is the episode 4 that everybody be like,
Yeah.
on the Marvel TV shows. Like this is their episode 4. It was just slow.
Yeah. So hopefully next week's a better week. This was a very slim picking week for comics. I think really it seemed like there was going to be some good stuff, but it just none of it really like grabbed me like in past weeks. So, but one good thing we should be coming back up on Grimm #3 in the next week or so.
Yes.
That's always a good read. So, but now we'll move in to our next segment. We have a guest that's going to be joining us. It's a little bit later than usual because I had 15 minutes of crap, so we're running a little bit late. But we're going to bring Darrell Damper on the show. He is the creator of a comic book called High Top. It will be his newest issue. It will be launching on Kickstarter soon. I'm not exactly sure the date, but we'll have him tell us about it. So we'll bring Darrell on the show now. So, hey, Darrell, how you doing?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey.
What's up, man?
Good evening, good night.
All right. So, High Top. That's your book that you have out, and it's how many issues do you have so far? I know
4.
We've read the 4, so this is issue 5 that'll be on Kickstarter.
Issue 5 and 6.
5 and 6. You want to tell those who don't know what the story is a little bit about High Top?
Yes, High Top is the story of my character Anthony Shaviv. His friend was abducted when they were 15. So with his abduction, that was the Sons of the Cross, and with that, he inherits his grandfather's gauntlets all in the same time frame. So with that, the gauntlets are religious artifacts that the Sons of the Cross are collecting, and they're trying to harvest the power of the gauntlet. So when his friend gets kidnapped, he becomes a vigilante looking for his friend, and he gets his grandfather's gauntlets, and now he has the Sons of the Cross down his throat. They're trying to get the gauntlets to harness the power and control the world. It's kind of like Indiana Jones meets Watchmen type situation.
Okay, sounds interesting. Oh, sorry about that. So how did you come up with this idea for the High Top?
Well, I've changed the story at least probably 5 times before I actually got it on to the comic book. I created the character when I was in school for a final. Our final was to create a comic book cover, so I just had High Top created, but I didn't have his backstory or anything. And fun trivia for when it blows up later, I was actually going to call him Carl Weathers. Then I was like, hold on, that name sounds familiar. You know, that's Apollo Creed. And so I had to change his name. So High Top's name was going to be Carl Weathers originally. So and with that, so yeah, I went that, and then last year I started going back to the story, and then that's when I submitted the Sons of the Cross and the story with his friend, and just building up from there. So.
Very cool, very cool. I forget what to say. Just today, I was watching something. This is a little off topic, but it just reminded me of it. I was watching because today was the first day of the NHL free agency, so they were talking to people, and the one guy after he's done talking to one of the NHL players, he's like, "Thanks for not having a ceiling fan," and he's like, "What?" He goes, "Because ever since Zoom started, all I see is people ceiling fans, and when you came on as a ceiling fan, it's just
it's not on, so sorry.
yeah.
Try to probably keep it out the frame.
It just like made me think of that again. Like I never paid attention before that, and then he mentioned it today, so I was like,
on the roof on the patio. So
yeah. Trying to think.
Are you the artist?
I am. I'm the artist. I'm the writer, the artist. So as you see, issue 1 through issue 4, you can see me learning new stuff and growing with the lettering and the editing and trying to, just trying to do it better. Issue 3, I had my friend. He drew the cover and some interiors, but issue 1, 2, and 4 are all me.
Okay. Since you're going to 5, are you planning on ending the story arc soon to do a trade?
This particular story, it's going to be a 9-issue run because it's going to be the origin of High Top. So if you read issue 1 and by issue 9, he's pretty much full blown hero, and he's going to be a completely different person from issue 1. And then after issue 9, I'm going to keep High Top going, but it's going to be adding more characters and doing different stories. But I wanted to focus particularly on the Sons of the Cross for his origin story for the 9-issue run.
Okay. The way it was set up, it looked like it was a webtoon. Was it a webtoon?
No, it's indie comic published.
Okay, because while I was scrolling when I was reading it earlier, I was like, "How was it a webtoon first and he made it a book?" Because I don't know, I guess the way your panels and line up, it looked like
that's a lot of people asking. I was just setting it up format from, I think, when I had it on Amazon, what do you call it? Amazon Kindle, whatever. That's the format that they had it for me to upload it. So I just kept it like that when I printed it out. So
okay.
Yeah. My first book, I tried to get it like back then. I wanted to get it so it's like on the Kindle, but they like to do it so each panel is like its own.
Right.
So I had to like try to tear this book apart, and I said, "Forget it."
Yeah, it's a nightmare with Kindle. Like you have to get it this particular format, and it has to be just like too small or too big. It's blurry, and it can't read it. It's just a nightmare.
Yeah, it was not fun because they like to do that thing where people can just like go from panel to panel to panel to panel.
Right.
And so I was like, my book has weird shaped panels and everything else. Forget it. Oh.
Where'd you get the concept for the character, I guess?
For the main character, or just for the whole story?
High Top.
Well, the concept came. It's set in the '90s. So the concept was, to get something catchy to hit people's ear. High Top. Well, what is High Top about? Most people think of High Top as just the hairstyle. So that's why I introduced the character with the actual high top. So this, bringing the '90s back. A lot of comics are now set present day. I grew up in the '90s, reading '90s comics, early 2000s comics. So I just wanted to bring kind of the '90s back a little bit, and something's catchy like High Top. Well, this sounds interesting. Let's see what High Top is about. So something just to catch the ear.
But I must be really old because when I read High Top, I thought tennis shoes.
That's what I was thinking too.
High Top, the kid and play. The house.
Yeah.
I'm really with you on that one, James.
Well, we're old guys. So
now, this has already been on Kickstarter how many times before?
This is my second Kickstarter. The first one was issue 1 through 3.
Okay. And how'd you do on that one?
It did good. The first I did it. I set the goal at 600. I got, I think, 1,000. So raised $1,000 for it.
Nice.
Yeah, not bad.
And you're doing 5 and 6 on the next one, so of course
you'll have. It's going to be 4, 5, and 6. What I usually do is I do an issue to test run it in the comic book store, see how it sells, and if people are buying it, then I include it in the Kickstarter. So it's going to be issue 4, 5, and 6 actually on the Kickstarter. So
okay.
And when does your Kickstarter start, or when do you plan on starting it?
I want to say August 16th or August 17th. So it's that Monday or Tuesday. So I think it's that Tuesday. So whatever Tuesday it is.
Be the 16th.
So August 16th.
Nice.
I'm trying to launch it at 12 p.m. So August 16th at 12 p.m.
at noon.
Yes.
Okay. That always confuses me. Like if you said 12:01, I'd know what you meant. But when you say 12 p.m., I'm like,
well, they said Kickstarters usually do good on a Tuesday, so I'm trying to get it for a Tuesday.
I don't know all that analytic stuff. I don't know. I launch mine on a Wednesday usually because that's New Comic Book Day, so that's what I always think of.
Okay.
But I don't know. I mean, I've only ever launched one, and I think the only reason it funded is because I was dying in the hospital in the middle of it.
Oh man.
But that's besides. I can't even think.
What is
Anybody
High
else?
Top powers?
Oh,
Say again.
Explain the gauntlets and High Top's
Well,
powers.
Okay, so the powers for High Top are right now. He's still trying to figure out because he just got the gauntlets in issue 2. So issue 3, he's actually got his first real fight. So right now he has super strength and he's invulnerable and he's still learning them. So with each wearer of the gauntlets possesses a different power and they're passed down from his family from generation to generation. They came from an angel way back thousands of years ago. They were lost for a while. His grandpa found them in World War II, so his grandpa used them. His dad used them. So now for High Top's power, so far he has invulnerability and super strength, and he's going to, in issue 5, he's going to be flying. So his powers are building up. By issue 6, I'm writing the script for issue 5 now. So by issue 6, he's going to have the gauntlets fully mastered, and he's going to be just a beast with the gauntlets. So I'm still thinking of the powers as I'm going along. So each issue that you see he's reading powers, I'm actually making it up on the fly. So
So it's like a all for one type of thing.
yes. But like I said, each wearer and the gauntlets are DNA coded, so only High Top can wear the gauntlets. If you read issue 1, one of the Sons of the Cross were just playing around and trying them on, he melted his arms and his wrists. So
yeah, and he turned all.
Yeah.
Yes. I might have missed it because, like I said, there's writing on the gauntlets.
Yes.
Do we find out what that says?
Yes, I'm doing the history of the gauntlets in issue 5, so I'm actually going to break down. There's going to be 2 sections. There's going to be the picking up off of issue 3. He's fighting a body collector and all that, and then he's going down later to his grandmother's house. So she's going to break down the history of the gauntlets, where they came from, where they originated from. But the writing on the gauntlets are actually Hebrew. It's God's name in Hebrew.
Mm-hmm. So I thought it was. But I wasn't 100% sure. I didn't.
Yeah, that's what it is. And on the thigh is power and or strength and courage, which is Hebrew written on his thigh, on his left thigh.
Very cool.
So are you planning on suing Miss Marvel?
For the gauntlets, no, I think they can have that one since they completely changed her origin story for the TV show. I think they
to give her gauntlets.
Yeah, I'm like, dang, they like so good ideas.
I don't know what they're called. The wrist and the little bangle things, I guess.
They're calling it bangles, and for I know, I'm not sure that's really the term is bangles. Maybe.
Yeah, I always thought bangles were the bracelets, like the loose bracelet thing.
Yeah, the little thin ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought those were bangles.
I don't know what they're calling it in the show. I don't know if they're actually calling it this. I don't know what they're calling it in the show.
Yeah, it's weird.
They're calling it. She's calling it bangles.
That's what I thought.
I'm trying to remember is anybody else saying that, but
maybe
bangles,
that's a.
yeah. I think her grandma said it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought they were called bangles. I heard it a couple times.
Yeah.
Terrible. I guess you can say that's lost in translation.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the season finale yet, but if she doesn't say ambigum, I don't know. I might just stop.
Exactly. Yes.
That she has to say
that as well.
Time. If she doesn't say ambigums, then we're all right.
None of us have seen the season finale yet, so we should have done a watch party, and we all could have watched it.
Well, I seen a couple of YouTube spoilers about it, and I really hope what I read on those spoilers is not true, because they just totally made up her character if it's true. That's all I can say. It's like they went supposed to go right, they went straight and did a U-turn and went up.
Oh, no.
I think because the failure of Inhumans, the TV show, on ABC or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Whatever network. I think they were afraid to try to reintroduce the Inhumans so early, so they just completely redid her backstory.
I don't think they wanted to say the word Inhumans because I don't even think in Doctor Strange they even say that he's an Inhuman.
They didn't. I think they just called him by his name. He's the king, or whatever. I don't even think they said it at all. No, they didn't.
I don't think they did. And it's the same guy who played him on the show, Anson Mount. So,
well, maybe this is a thing they're doing because they never said mutant either. So like maybe they're trying to avoid both of them because they gonna retcon it. It says we didn't mention both of them because we didn't know anything about it. But hey, they gotta say something with Namor, so
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna do probably a soft reboot, maybe.
But the thing is, maybe that's why they haven't mentioned mutants because Namor is actually the first mutant, and so they're probably saving it for Namor since to be the first mutant in the MCU.
So is that like a meta thing because he wasn't the first mutant, but he's the first printed mutant, so he's about to be the first mutant.
Yeah, he wasn't called he wasn't the first mutant to be like in comics, but in time, he was the first mutant on the Earth. Like he was the first mutant. And you know what makes Namor a mutant, by the way?
The mustache.
No.
The mustache.
I had to. Sorry.
What were you gonna say, Specs?
Oh well, I was gonna say because his mom and daddy, they blended, but I'm pretty sure it's the wings on his feet.
It's the wings on his feet. That's his mutation. He don't have like mutant powers or anything. He has wings on his feet. They let him fly. So that's his. That's what makes him a mutant.
So does he swim faster?
No, he just can fly. He's the only Atlantean that can fly.
But wouldn't it help him play in the water?
I don't know because your feathers would get all wet. Probably not.
Well,
yeah. So
if you take the time to break that down too much, we're going to lose our minds.
I still say they got EC3 to play him in that picture.
Recently you said your books and comic book stores. How many stores you're in?
Right now there's 2 locally out here and where I'm at in Illinois in Kankakee.
Okay.
I have it at the Horse Collectibles and Dragon's Refuge.
Okay.
What's the name of that town again?
Say again?
What's the name of the town?
Kankakee.
What's with all these like Native American town names in the Midwest?
Actually, that is what it is. It's exactly. Cities.
Yeah, there, and you go to Wisconsin, you got all kinds.
Tennessee, same way. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them here.
Now we got a bunch of German names in Pennsylvania. So we got all the Bergs.
It has a nice little following out here too. So Kankakee, like people, it's soon I put issue 1, issue 2 out, like they buy them up. I have to reprint them and get them back in the stores. Stock. Cool. So we do local Comic-Con or local conventions out here too, and people are doing buying them up pretty good.
Yeah, I saw that you put a lot of those pictures of people buying them, and I was like, wow, I had trouble selling one at a show.
Yeah, I just came back from
I never been to a con.
I never.
You've never?
Never been to a con. Never.
What is wrong with you? Where are you at?
Coronavirus.
What? Oh, Corona, but there was cons before Corona.
I dropped the first one right before Corona, so like the following year, okay, I got the physical book, I can go. Then boom.
So where are you at though? Like, there's got to be cons near you now.
Yeah, there's all kind of cons near you. I just haven't been yet. Like, I'm trying to do it. Yeah, end of the month or next year. I mean, not next year. Next month to start off with. Yeah, I just never been.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, this is only my 3rd one I went to, so still popping my cherry for mine. So
I did the free comic book day stuff, but
that's about the same.
And local comic book day.
Yeah,
I did that. Yeah,
and then they have like that Halloween fest one in October. Like I've
Yep.
done that at a couple stores over the years. Yeah. So,
Now, Darrell, let me ask you, how do you go ahead and network to go ahead and get your books out to more comic book stores? I mean, are you just kind of going store to store, or are you reaching out to them different ways? How are you doing that?
We're going store to store, and where I'm at, like I said, it's a small town, so it's actually those are the only 2 comic book stores where I'm at within probably 30 or 40 miles instead of me having to go all the way up to Chicago and whatnot. So,
Okay. Are you planning on trying to get it out to more stores up in the Chicago way and further like that?
I do. When I get a bigger following, I actually want to try to go down the diamond distribution route to see how that goes. But for right now, yeah, I'm keeping it local. And then when I travel to cons, like I'll try to get them in stores in Chicago and Orland Park and see what they say and stuff.
How far are you from Chicago?
Not about 45, 50 minutes, depending on traffic. So not that far.
You didn't go to what was it, HNIC Con?
I didn't. I went to Blurred Blast, which is in Scotty, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago, and I just came from Fan Expo literally the other day. So
Fan Expo was over the weekend because we had a guest last week. The Microphone Misfits were on the show last week.
I know. Actually, I'm real good friends with them.
Yeah, they were on last week, and I know he was going to be at Fan Expo.
Yeah, we wrap it up, and actually, I met them last year, and we've been keeping in contact, and I got their comics, and we do comic swaps and stuff like that. So
that's what's up.
Yeah,
small circle, right?
It is, yeah. Especially out here in Illinois, there's not so many comic book creators. Actually, I just found out that Angel Medina actually lives out here in the suburbs of Chicago. So I met him at Expo the other day. He was giving me some advice on what the comics and what to do and how to do it this way and whatnot. So I talked to him, and I talked to John Delaney. I hope I don't not butcher his name. So he gave me some good advice too as well. He worked on Futurama and Justice League too.
Mm-hmm. And isn't what's his? I can't think of his name now. Who works with Chuck all the time, and he also does
Eric.
Eric, isn't he out near Chicago?
I believe so.
Eric Cockrell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's in that Chicago area as well. He's more of a writer. He does a little bit of art, but he. But yeah, like that's how I am. Like I live near Pittsburgh, and I didn't realize there was as many people around me as there is until I started going to some of the local conventions, and I was like, oh, wow, I didn't realize you lived here. Like we talk online all the time. I didn't realize you were like here. So it's always good to be able to. If you can find some local people that you can connect with and stuff like that.
Right. I'm definitely trying to network. Actually, I met as well Draymond. I forgot his last name. He was the guy that got picked up for the Milestone initiative that they were doing for the Static Shock and whatever.
Yeah.
So him got to talk with him for a little bit and everything. So I forgot his last name. I'm sorry, but I think his first name is Draymond. I just can't remember his last name. I met him the last day of Fan Expo on Sunday. We talked for a little bit, exchanged information.
Yeah. Cool. So High Top comes out, you're saying August 16th. It's issues 3, 4, and 5 on Kickstarter.
4, 5.
4, 5, and 6. My numbers get confusing. I'm trying to think. I got to grab my schedule. Talk amongst yourselves. Let me give you a topic.
So issue 4 is done. I'm writing the script for issue 5 right now as you speak. I'm on page probably 10 on issue 5, and issue 6 probably start writing the script in probably September. I have the rewards going out by January, so I should be done with 5 and 6 by October if everything goes to plan. So.
If you had Hot Top to fight anybody in the comic book universe, who would it be?
I would love to see him go against Deadpool because High Top has a smart mouth and Deadpool has a smart mouth. He has regeneration power, so and High Top is still getting used to his gauntlets. Like with his gauntlets, he's pretty much if he is in the Marvel universe, he'll be an Omega level mutant because of his gauntlets. So I want to see how they'll tear up with each other. So
okay.
So on my other show, I used to have this list of weird questions. Not all of them are weird, but my co-host on my other show always calls them silly questions. But who do you think is the most overrated comic book character, or comic book superhero character?
Oh, that's a good question. Overrated? I don't want to offend nobody, but I guess I want to say because he is pretty popular. But I would say, want to say, I know he is my favorite too, but he is kind of over. I want to say Cyclops, maybe.
Oh,
Not too overrated.
A little bit because I don't want to say overrated. He's kind of misunderstood, like because he's the leader, but a lot of people don't see him as leader. In the movies they always get his character wrong. And they hype him up, but then it's a big letdown. But if you know the comics, like you know that he's a beast in the comics, but in the movies, I feel like they always fail
like
him.
A bitch boy.
Say again?
He's always a bitch boy in the movie.
Yeah, but he's like, he's hardcore in the comics, especially the Avengers versus X-Men and stuff. He's taking charge, but in the movies, like they kind of like not sideline him, but I don't know how to describe it, but he's not his comic book counterpart, I guess I should say that. So in the movies, he's overrated, I guess I would say that. Not in the comic book, to clear that up.
Yeah. Well, at least
he's
you didn't say
he's not as confident or
they've made him a bitch boy. I don't know how else to explain it. Like he's pretty Cyclops is what my friend used to call him.
That's what actually got me hooked on X-Men, was reading, Cyclops and his storyline and everything. A lot of people go, oh, Wolverine and so it's Storm. They're like, no, Cyclops, like, he's my favorite X-Men. A lot of people, oh, why don't you choose Wolverine? And I mean, yeah, Wolverine is cool, but Cyclops, he's keeping the group together and everything. So him and Storm being the leader of X-Men and stuff. So
very good, very good. Yeah, a lot of people always say Batman, and then I have to get upset.
Batman.
I never asked you guys who you think is the most overrated superhero or supervillain.
I mean, you get upset.
Well, for my opinion, it's Superman, and I'll just leave it at that. Because I can't stand Superman. He's too perfect.
Yeah, that's mine too. Like Superman, but I don't know. It's just his power.
Overpowered, or is it because
he's too overpowered. So the only good stories they can write is you have to do stuff to Clark Kent, and it's like you can't do anything to Superman. Like, oh, what's his weakness? A rock, a space rock. Like, that's what his weakness is? Come on. Like, it's just as bad as the old Green Lantern, where he couldn't use it against yellow.
And one writer wrote that he's not invulnerable. He's only invulnerable when he's aware. So if you, get him drunk, you can beat him up.
But Superman can't get drunk.
Well, he get poisoned from poison ivy, so something happened.
I don't know if they retconned that, but one of his weaknesses was magic at one point.
Yeah, that still is. So that's why that's why him and Shazam, Shazam's kind of like his equal because he can't really hurt Shazam.
No, it's retcon.
Really?
Yeah, I thought they changed it.
Yeah, after it's not New 52, it's whatever Rebirth. It's retcon.
Rebirth.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so now he's just super OP now, I guess.
because the New 52 one wasn't like that, but since they blended two together, lost. Yeah.
But see, the Superman that's in the comic books now, well, the one that's dead, is the original Clark Kent one from before.
But they blended. They fused together.
When did they fuse together?
So, right.
Because he was here, they were both here, so he couldn't be Superman because there was already a Superman.
Okay,
so he would always be Clark Kent.
Then he died.
Superman died, and then he took over.
Yeah, he died, became Doomsday, right? Then it was a thing when they were sitting down somewhere and they fused together. Then boom, the writers changed and a new storyline, and they're fused together. I noticed because this brought me back into comics. Like I started during that time period,
Because
So
I liked that storyline when they did the Lois and Clark or Superman and Lois, where he wore the black suit when they first introduced John when he was little.
you know when they fused together because his hair changed. Like
Oh my
his
God!
hair changed. Yeah. Yeah.
I have to catch up on Superman and Lois. I have to watch the last 4 episodes.
Yeah, I need to catch up on that show. Like I watched
It's
the
actually really
first
good, surprisingly
2
good.
seasons. Yeah, that show's still on CW. They didn't cancel that one.
I was actually shocked how good it turned out to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, I think it's because they keep it away from the other
Yeah,
like Arrowverse shows.
we need to this from future. Just keep it away from everything else. This separate by itself.
Because it seems like once they start like connecting them all, is when they all go to crap.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like Black Lightning.
Yeah,
When they brought him into that, it's just like, yeah, it's not quite as good now.
yeah, they ended up getting canceled. I thought they was going to go for at least 2 more seasons. It was actually good. I like Black Lightning.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, it I knew it was at the end when they switched out the sister for a different character. I was like, oh,
yeah.
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 Well, I think we're gonna. Well, we have another. What we're gonna do?
segment.
Yeah, another segment. That's the word I was looking for, where we do a fan cast. So we're gonna be doing that in a second. But I know, Darrell, I have you scheduled for the other show on the 5th. I'll talk to you. Maybe you want to reschedule that till after the Kickstarter starts, so that way we'll be able to. Because that's our show where we actually promote Kickstarters.
Right. Okay. Yeah, we can reschedule because it's launching on the 16th. So I guess that week or the week after.
Yeah, because I actually have that week open, so I'll get to you and reschedule that. Because if you come on the 5th, we won't have that's
right.
a little bit too far before the Kickstarter to really
get
we'll
it.
Forget by then. So we'll get you on. I think that is. I do have it here. Oh, that's July. That won't help me at all. The 19th.
Okay.
Yeah, I can get you on the 19th, and that'll be it's the same time as this one. And we promote Kickstarter stuff on there, so we'll go through the Kickstarter, show everybody your the thing and the rewards. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I have it.
And you guys are an hour ahead of me, right? So it'll be 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
Same. Yep, 8 o'clock your time. Same time. Same bat time. Same bat channel. So, but thanks for stopping by, talking to us about High Top, and be waiting to see that Kickstarter when it launches on the 16th. And we're going to talk about Wildcats. If we were going to make a Wildcats movie, who we would want to play the parts. If you want to stick around for that, you're more than welcome. If not, like I said, you're welcome back on the show anytime. Sometimes we just like to hang out and talk comics. So
okay, I hang around for a bit. I don't have nothing to do. So kids are there.
All right,
it's a show.
Wildcats. It sounds. Don't stone me, but I don't think I've watched it. But I know what it is, but I haven't watched it. So
yeah. Well, Specs asked me about the cartoon. I was like, well, it's a comic book, but I think the cartoon was kind of along the same lines. I kind of remember the cartoon.
Totally different thing.
Yeah, like it was kind of the same, but they like kiddied it down for the cartoon.
Okay, that's what I'm more familiar with the cartoon that used to come out.
I had to research do these characters, so it is definitely dumbed down. So think of it like X-Men 97-ish, but I don't know, turned down like the what character? The voodoo character?
Yeah.
Costume.
Yeah, she's like totally covered from the neck down in purple, like her suit's like
Oh, great example. It's like Spider-Man from the 90s. Yeah. So they don't have any guns. They got all kind of laser stuff and that kind of equipment, stuff like that.
Okay, is it don't stone me either. Is it Image?
Yeah.
Image, okay.
Yeah. 90s Image. So Vince White says Wildcats is X-Men if they were angels.
Like, baseball player?
Yeah, well, when I was starting to do the fan cast, I was going to do like a joke one and make all the characters like who they were played by in like the X-Men movies. Because if you don't know what Wildcats is, it is one of the first comic books from Image Comics in the 90s. Jim Lee was the creator of it. He had just left X-Men after his 12-issue run on the new X-Men book. Him along with Rob Liefeld, Todd McFarlane, Jim Valentino. Excuse me?
Chris Claremont.
Well, Chris Claremont was the writer on X-Men, but he stayed on X-Men when Jim Lee left.
Oh,
Claremont didn't. Claremont wrote a couple issues of Wildcats later on.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, Jim Lee wrote and drew Wildcats.
Okay.
So a lot of the early Image stuff, it is just a ripoff of whatever that person was working on at Marvel. So Wildcats is definitely, you can see the X-Men influence in the book. I think it's out actually in issue 5. It was right after they did the Cyclops and Jean wedding. There's a scene in issue 5 when they're on a cruise ship.
The cruise ship.
And you see Scott and Jean in the back on their honeymoon, and he calls them Scott and Jean. So it's like, it's not even like, he's trying to like just make it look like it's them. It is obviously them.
Lois a partner too.
Yeah. So he was good at that.
Nice.
Yeah,
I always like Jim. I always like Jim Lee's work. So
yeah. Jim Lee was my first artist. That was my when I was younger. But we'll get into Vince is just writing up all kinds of stuff in here. I can't even keep up with it. What he said. Yeah, you guys didn't know that. Yeah, I knew that they were angel, like they're from a different planet and they fight demons, the Daemonites. Yeah, I knew that. Much like Heaven, where they were at war with the Daemonites being that could possess people. Yes, that's the storyline. That's what that was all about. But anyways, we'll get to it. So I am going to bring up, I actually made a little slideshow for this. Specs didn't get me his characters in time, so his aren't on here. But why did it go? Okay, so we're going to start. I started putting them in order as they appear in the first 4 issues, but I started running. I had computer problems, and I didn't have time to fix that. So our very first character, Lord Emp himself, Jacob Marlowe. Obviously, I had to. Well, let me fix this for a second. I'm going to take this stupid thing off of here so we don't. How do I find where it's at? There we go. Take that out of the way. All right. So, obviously, him being a little person, I decided that Peter Dinklage should play Lord Emp, Jacob Marlowe.
He would never take the role.
What?
He would never take that role.
Why wouldn't he?
He doesn't want to be cast as a little person.
But you got to have. It's why it's a fan cast. That's who I want to play Jacob Marlowe.
That is a powerful little person he would be, though.
But look, they're even in the same pose.
Yeah, I recently heard about him. He said he never wants to be cast as the a little person in a film.
So you're saying don't call him an elf? Is what you're saying?
Pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. Call him
an elf one more time.
I heard he's going to be playing in the new Toxic Avenger movie or something.
Oh, geez. I don't know. So, who did you pick, Specs? Who did you pick to play Lord Emp?
I really couldn't find nobody with that same stature. And but only way I probably had to do the same cop out as I did Maul. Have like them CGI them small and pick somebody. Like that's the only way I see it work. But
in Eternals, in the post-credit scene, when we meet Thanos' brother, what's his name? I can't remember.
Star Lord, Star
Yeah.
Fox.
Star Fox.
Star Fox.
Isn't Pip with him?
Yes,
Yes.
Who plays Pip?
random character.
That's got to be a little person, right?
No, I think it's CGI. Star Fox, Pip Troll, right?
Yeah, Pip the Troll.
Let's see what old Google says.
Google says.
Oh, it's it. Well, okay. I'll put Patrick Oswald.
Patton Oswalt. He never. That's great. All right. So
That's what he was.
Patton Oswalt. He's not really a little person. I mean, he's short, but
Yeah, he'll fit for this guy. But that's who played him.
Who was the comedian that used to do Dorf? Remember Dorf?
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of the name.
See, they're younger than us, so they probably don't remember Dorf.
Yeah.
But it was this comedian. He would like be on his knees. He played like he did this skit where he would be this little person.
Tim Conway.
And he wore shoes on his knees, so he looked like.
Yep.
But all right. So Phil, who did you pick?
He's already up there. Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage.
Hey, y'all getting canceled, man.
You're lucky because I ran out of time, or I had a joke coming up.
All I can say is, whenever you're dealing with this role, it's a short list to go through. Yep, I went there.
Short list to go through. Hey, they say there's no small rules, right? There's no small rules. So
any hate mail send to JW Sim on the show. That's where it all.
Now, the joke I had, but I didn't get you to finish it. The other two were going to be Peter Dinklage as well, because there is no. I mean, Peter Dinklage is the only correct answer. So, and Vince knows. See, he said, "I like that pick." Yep. So there is no other pick. That's who it is. You have Stewart playing Xavier, and Dinklage has to play Lord M. That's who they were like meant to play.
Yep.
So all right. So our next character is Maul. I don't remember who. I do know, but so Maul is. It all depends on which way you want to do this, because if you read enough into Wildcats, you know this is not his normal form. Maul's actually this little thin blonde Bruce Banner guy, and he transforms into this guy. So when I was choosing this, my original choice was Dave Bautista. But then I was like, no, I don't want to do Dave, because if I'm going to have him be also the little guy, you just do like they do with Ruffalo and CGI him as the big guy. So I had chose, that you can't read it on here because that color doesn't show up, is Jace Norman. He played, is it Henry Danger on like Nickelodeon or Disney Channel, whatever that was. Henry Danger. That's who, Jace Norman. Yeah, he played Henry Danger on the Adventures of Henry Danger.
Huh.
So,
well, in that case, I had the same thing you had, but I had make a CGI body and use Van Diesel. But if you're doing that, I'll pick the dude who played Quicksilver.
Doogie. Oh, Aaron, whatever, 3-name guy. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely not dude play Kick-Ass. Not that one.
All right. And so who did Specs pick? The Rock.
You mean Jonathan?
Yeah.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah, because I figure if he's going to be CGI, just use his voice on there. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that's true.
I can see that. I can see The Rock.
If you're going to use The Rock, might as well use Kevin Hart for
They do anyway. They play in all the movies, so might as well.
Yeah. Like even in that DC Pets thing, The Rock is Crypto and
Yep.
Kevin Hart is Batman's dog, whatever his name is. So.
Yep.
Ace, yeah. So, see who the next character we have is Spartan. Spartan, the leader, the field leader of the Wildcats, who is actually a cyborg, which you find out. Spoiler: near the end of the opening story arc, you find out that he is a cyborg. So I had chose Richard Madden. I think I went with the hair. I think that's what sold it. If you don't know who Richard Madden is, you probably should not be watching this or listening to the show. He was in Eternals. I don't remember that name of that character he played. He also is.
He played Sebastian Shaw.
He plays Sebastian Shaw. And he's also
Icarus.
Rob Stark.
Small role in Game of Thrones. Just
small. At least he had like a problem at a wedding. I remember. That was.
They chose the red wine. Yes.
Yeah. It's why you don't wear a white dress to a red wedding.
Oh, no.
So, who did you pick, Specs?
Lucas Black.
Who is that?
The guy from Tokyo Drift.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah.
Because he said he's based off a Southern general or whatever, so he has that strong Southern accent. And he's kind of like an action type actor, so.
Yeah, or Cyclops. He's Cyclops.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
That's who he is. Just like Maul is Hulk.
Yeah.
And Jacob Marlowe is.
Well, I seen Spartan more like Havoc than Cyclops, though.
Yeah, but if you read it, he's Cyclops. And see, Phil thought Gerard Butler.
Well, yeah, because from 300, I mean, come on, this is Spartan.
Man, I walked right into that one. Because the whole time I'm putting these together, I'm like, Gerard Butler? I think we go for the old.
I couldn't resist.
The Elder Cats? Is that what we're doing?
Hey, CGI can take out the wrinkles.
I guess.
Yeah, give him a deep fake.
Yeah, he's a deep fake. We'll use like an old Gerard Butler. Do you have any who you would think Darrell should play Spartan?
I'm trying to look at his hair on my screen. Is it kind of like a reddish brown hair?
Yeah, it's like reddish blonde color. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of redheaded or reddish brown haired actors. Can't think of none off the top of my head. But what's called he's too small. Let's say CGI. The guy that played Rorschach and the guy that played Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they'll probably have to CGI and make them buffer or make them taller.
They giving the Chris Evans treatment.
Yeah. I had two other because I always picked a bunch of people. Two of the other ones I'd picked for this role was Jacob Elordi from Euphoria. I don't remember who he plays. I just know that character. And then Matt Boomer. If you know Matt Boomer from Doom Patrol, he's the one who plays.
Yep.
Okay.
What's it? Negative Man? Is that his name? Larry Trainer?
I think that's.
I believe so. The invisible guy with this.
Yeah.
But yeah. So our next one is Void. Void is an old Russian cosmonaut who is fused with this power of this thing. I don't know, this sphere. That's why she has this metallic thing, and she can travel through space and time. And she's the one that kind of brings the Wildcats together. So I had picked Amy Pemberton from. I gotta find where she's written down at because I know it. I just can't think. She played Gideon on
Okay.
Legends of Tomorrow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, but not the Gideon on the Flash,
On Legends of
because
Tomorrow.
the Gideon on the Flash is what's her name from Firefly. That she's a Bianchini or something's her last name. I don't know.
Yeah,
She
I
does
can't
the
remember
voice.
the name.
But yeah, so the other Gideon, Amy Pemberton. So how about you, Specs? Who's going to play the Silver Surfer woman?
I said Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence. And what made you pick Jennifer Lawrence?
Because it's basically the same character from Mystique.
Except for now she had the Russian accent. That was bad. That was a bad Russian accent. All right, Phil. Phil went with. Oh, wait. You didn't go with that. I put her in the wrong place.
No, that's the one.
All right.
Sophie.
Oh, is that who you picked? Yeah, you did. You did
Yeah.
pick Sophie Turner. Never mind. My brain
Yep.
isn't working. And he picked Sophie Turner. So we have like this Game of Thrones thing going
Yep.
on with these characters.
I mean, the strong role that she played is Sansa Stark. I mean, I just thought it would be a good role in that right there, and she can pull off the Russian if she needs to.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, she already played a redhead, so a no head could
Yeah.
perfectly fine. So how about you, Darrell? Who would you like to see play Void?
Well, since he's kind of looks similar, or not similar, but just the bald head and everything, I would go with what's her name, Karen Gilliam from that played Neverland.
Yes, that's a good one. I didn't even think of her. Yes, Karen Gillian. Very good. So now we go to the Wolverine of the team, Warblade, in his liquid metal claws and his green ponytail. I picked William Shufit. If you know him, he's from the Power Rangers. As I was going through this, I realized I picked a lot of Power Rangers, but not as the main ones, as my backups if I needed to. So William Shufit, he plays Brody, the Red Ranger on Ninja Steel. So that's how I went. How about Specs?
If you go to Power Rangers, I do Jason David. Frank.
Jason David Frank. There you go. So he's a little old now. I just seen he was at a GameStop over the weekend signing stuff at a GameStop.
Yep.
And he just released his own comic Redemption, I think that's what it's called. I think.
Yep, exactly. And he's sporting the mohawk right now, so it'd be a little different for him to have the green ponytail.
Yeah.
But he had a head cover.
Oh, there's another green, and you're gonna go with Jason David Frank. That's like colorist.
Hey man,
You're pigeonholing him into colors.
he's already playing a white dragon, you know. So hey.
All right, and Phil, who did you pick?
John Bernthal. That gritty, just dark sense of nature with him and everything. I think that would just work for this character. I can't see him as being a Wolverine, but I could see him as doing the Warblade. So I that's why I chose him for this one.
Nice. All right, Darrell.
The race matter. I'm trying to see because I don't know the background for this character. Is he? What nationality is he?
He's Wolverine.
He's alien.
Okay, so I would go with since we're talking about Black Lightning, the one that played Painkiller, Jordan. I forgot his name. Jordan.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because I think they're all aliens except for Grifter.
Okay.
I think Grifter's the only one that's a human.
Yeah, he is.
In the
Wildcats. The red mask,
with
right?
Yeah, where's the red mask? The only one that's still like used by DC.
Right, yeah, I remember him popping up a couple times. Yeah, I would cast the guy to play Painkiller for him.
All right. So John Lynch, I actually was going to put him last on our list because you only see him in the story like the very first scene when Void like pops in and out, and then you catch him again like sporadically, and then at the end, so it'd be almost like a post-credit scene because he is like the Nick Fury of the 90 Image comic books. Like I think every Image book that came out had something to do with John Lynch in it, like from Gen 13, Wildcats, Young Blood, all of them. So he's like in every one of them. So I figured if we're gonna do like I mentioned before, like do all the early Image books, you had to have John Lynch kind of like tie them all together. So for my cast for John Lynch, I had picked Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Okay.
And I'm not so much the Negan Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I'm thinking more of the comedian Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I don't know why. Like that's like I see him because they both have this eye thing and the cigar, and I don't know. So that was, and plus I like Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He's a good actor, and he doesn't have to do much on this one. He's just there for a few scenes. All right, Specs. Who's your super spy?
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman. Is it because of the sideburns?
Possibly.
I think Specs froze on us though. He's like pondering.
No, I'm not froze.
On my camera, on my side, I think you froze. You look froze.
No, he's moving.
It's body.
Oh.
You've been freezing all day, but you know.
Well, I had my air conditioner on, so. All right. So Phil picked Keanu Reeves.
And not the Bill and Ted version. We're going with the John Wick. I just want to specify that. Just that's the version we would go with on this. But if you go with him with the eye patch, you got to think John Lynch was also known as Top Kick, was his character name. And he actually got into a fight that was so severe that he actually tore out his own eye to go ahead and get a win in the match by doing some very nasty stuff with that eye. Not going into all that, but yeah, it was brutal.
Was that in what was that book? The one with him and Grifter and Death Blow and all them.
Yep.
What is that? 7?
No.
I can't think of the name of it, but yeah, that's exactly that one.
Yeah, it's like all the Wildstorm guys. Like
Stormwatch?
Yeah. No, not Stormwatch. It was like before they all became like, so it was like Grifter, it was John Lynch, Death Blow, Backlash, and the guy from what's the one with the gold skin? Wetworks.
Yes.
Dane, I think it was from Wetworks. They were like a special ops like kind of team. So all right, Darrell. Look at that beautiful man, John Lynch, with his silver eye.
I would say
spy.
He looks like a serious Ace Ventura with sideburns. I would say Jim Carrey.
but see, did you hear the news about Jim Carrey? He is retired from acting. He's retired from acting.
Sonic is his last movie.
Sonic 2 was his last movie.
Oh, I didn't hear that, no.
And what's his last line in that movie? I can't remember. He says something like as he's falling, and that's his last line in his acting career. So.
Oh man, but yeah, he looks like a serious Ace Ventura with sideburns. So I don't know.
All right, now we get to Voodoo, which I liked. We'll get to Phil's pick in a minute because mine's first. I had picked Cree. I can mess up her name. I'm thinking it's Cree Chichino. Is that her name? I don't know. I'm not hip on all these young kid stuff, but she plays on what the heck is that? Game Changers game something on it's a Nickelodeon or Disney Plus show. I never know what those things are on. I just remember seeing her on something, and she plays Babe on that. But in the comics, Voodoo is the youngest of the Wildcats. She is just like 18 years old, and she's a stripper when they find her. But she's also a Damonite, so she has and she has the power to see Daemonites because Daemonites can possess people. So, yeah. So that's who I picked. How about you, Specs? Who do you think should play the 18-year-old stripper with furry boots?
I think Maggie Robinson, her name was. Margaret, whatever.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
Maybe I might. Is it because she's a stripper? Is that what? And you went. Now see, Phil went a different direction with this, and I have a feeling he's going to like have some joke on it again. But he picked what's her name, Tawny Newton from. Yeah, I know that show. I watch it all the time. Westworld.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I just thought whenever I was going through looking, she had that strong presence that looked like it would be there, and you can kind of see where she could have the stripper background, but still have the Daemonite as well. You could just kind of, she wouldn't have a lot to work with, extra to try to get the role on this one. I think it'd be second nature for her.
Yeah. All right, Darrell.
I know you guys are probably going to laugh, but I want to say probably Miley Cyrus just for her coming out her shell.
Just put a wig on her. I mean, she probably wouldn't even mind getting the butt tattoo. Like, it's like how Pamela Anderson got the barbed wire one when she did barbed wire.
Yep.
Right.
Maybe she'll get the butt tattoo. But that tattoo actually like goes upper butt, upper back, and then down her arm. So, yeah. So then we have Zealot. Zealot she's not an alien either, though. I don't think she is elite. She is one of the Coda warrior women. Think of them as like a ninja Wonder Woman. I guess that's the best way to explain them.
Well, YouTube said she was the alien.
Oh, is she? She might be. I don't remember.
It was in the YouTube video I watched. She was the first one they described.
Yes. I know she was because if you read the Wildcats, eventually there's two Wildcat teams. There's an Earth team and a space team, and she is on like the space team. So yeah, she probably is I can't remember what they're actually called. The good aliens.
Sedestants?
Something I don't remember. But so I had chose Brienne Howie, if you know who that is. She played Regan on Batwoman. I don't know. I just liked her. Like she doesn't have all the physical things you might need, but I thought like her acting, like her characterization, I think would make a good Zealot. Some of the other people I had in mind was Amy Johnston. She's a stunt woman. She was on. She's also a little bit of an actor, but she was a stunt woman on Deadpool, Winter Soldier, and something else. I can't remember. Another comic book movie. The other person I thought about was mess up her name was Palm. What's her last name? The one who plays Mantis on Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Okay.
I can't think of her last name's weird. It's like Clemitif, something. I don't know. So Specs, who would you pick to play the white-haired Psylocke?
Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot. That would work. I didn't even think of Gal. Yeah. I think I was going with the blonde hair kind of thing and a little bit of a Asian look. I don't know. So Phil is over there. It's like Dr. Evil.
Yes, very interesting.
And he picked Angelina Jolie.
He has an old cast.
Yeah.
I'm an old man. You're lucky I didn't pick Clint Eastwood for any of these.
Hey, I was close. All right, Darrell.
I know she looks a little older in here, but I would probably go with even though she's younger in the show. The girl that played the Hannah on the Hannah TV show.
Oh,
I don't know her name, but
I can't think of her name either, but I know who you mean. That would probably I like that. I didn't even think of that. Man, now I feel like I picked the worst one. All right, now we get to Grifter. Obviously, he is the gambit of the group. He's the only human. He uses guns. He's I think he was trained by the Coda. So I think he has a little bit of like immorality. Well, he does have immorality. We know that. But a little bit of like he ages slow or something. I can't, because he's been around for a while too. So I went to my standby for all of these characters like this. Oh, I went too far. Charlie Dunham.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Yeah. This is the one I messed up on. Remember before the show I told you I messed up on one and I didn't have time to fix it? This was the one. So I picked Charlie Hunnam, not Dunham. Charlie Hunnam. Obviously, we all know what he's from. Yeah. So, and now obviously we see who Phil picked. It took me a while to figure out who that guy was. Like, I didn't recognize the name, but I recognized the face.
Yeah, from
so he picked Jason Pureroy. Is that Pureroy?
James Purefoy.
Purefoy. I can't see it there. It's too little.
Yeah.
Purefoy. Yes.
From Rome, but he's mostly known from Resident Evil.
I don't even know him from those. I knew him from what the heck is the name of that show? It was on NBC back in, I want to say, 2015. It was with Kevin Bacon, and he was like this, like a murderer type guy. I can't even think what that was called now. It was on for 3 seasons, and he was like this like cult leader kind of guy. I can't remember what it's called, but that's what I knew him from. He played the villain on that show.
Okay.
So Specs.
I can't say his name. I think it's Matt Hades, whatever. But anyway, he's the safecracker from Army of the Dead.
Oh, and then they did the prequel that was about his character, right? That yeah, I can't think of his. I know who you're talking about.
I mean, I got his name. I just can't say it. It's German.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Darrell, old Grifter.
He looks rugged and everything, so I would go with even though he has a mask on, I think you can tell his facial features through the mask. The guy that got cast as Adam Warlock with the eyebrows. What's his name? I forget his name. He played off of a couple other movies too.
Yeah, he played the on Vacation. He's the meme kid.
Yeah, that him. He looks like he would be a good Grifter.
Yeah. Some of the other choices I had made when I was going through this was Andrew Gay. I think he's another Power Ranger from Megaforce. And then not that's the wrong character. I'm sorry. No. Wyatt Russell was one of the ones I was thinking of, who plays on Winter Soldier. Not Winter Soldier. Yeah, what is that show?
Falcon and
Winter Soldier. He played U.S. Agent.
Right.
Okay.
Or Boyd Holbrook, who played Pierce on Logan, and he's going to be playing the Corinthian on the Netflix Sandman series.
Yeah.
So that was my other picks for those. I think we only have a few left, and here's the villain. I think this might be the last one. Hellspawn. Obviously, no one looks like that. So I'm figuring this is going to be a CGI villain. So this is an actor I just kind of recently discovered. I'm sure he's been in lots of things, but Vincent Cassel from Westworld.
Mm-hmm.
He played what was that guy's name? Now I got it written down somewhere. He was like the villain kind of guy on season 3. Where do I have it written down? Oh, there it is. Surratt. Is that name Surratt? Sirach or something from Westworld. That's who I went with. If you've watched Westworld, you know who I'm talking about. If you haven't watched it, I don't know what you're doing with your life. It's one of the best shows out there every season. I wished it was longer. But so specs. Who do you pick as the Damonite King?
David Cranston, the guy from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say from the Power Rangers.
Yeah, that too.
Brian.
Zordon, Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, Brian.
Brian,
Yeah.
So you know I was going with it. See?
Yeah. I was like, man, this guy should have been on our last week's fan cast. He looks like a Ghost Rider. So Phil went with Morgan Freeman, which I can't do.
Surprise, Specs. I went with an old guy.
See, I was going with Breaking Bad again. I was gonna go with the Hispanic guy. I can't think of his name. The chicken guy.
Yeah, I know. I can't think. All right.
How he's doing in the boys right now, and Far Cry. Like he's definitely a great villain.
Yeah.
Oh, he's something Esquap. I can't say his name either.
Yeah.
All right, Darrell. Who would you think would play a good voice?
A two-parter for the body. Michael Jai White, and the voice. Keith David.
Ooh.
Very
I like that.
That was our last character. So I'm going to put all of our picks. Specs, did you send me your names, like these names?
Majority of them.
All right, if you can just send me the ones you picked, if you can remember, so I can put them.
I just listened to the episode.
All right, because I'll look up their pictures and put them on the graphic so I can put them on the interwebs for everyone to vote, so we can find out who the fans think should be these characters for next week. But I haven't picked a movie. I haven't picked a movie for next week. So does anybody else? Darrell's our guest. Darrell, what comic book franchise or storyline would you like to see fan cast next week?
One that hasn't been made a movie. Let me see.
It can be Marvel, DC, Image, whatever. Like last week we did Rise of the Midnight Suns because that's right. A couple weeks ago we did Blue and Gold, which is the Booster Gold Blue Beetle. What other one did we do? Oh, that Wolverine Gambit story from the 90s. So we've been trying to find storylines or
the storyline of the King of the Symbiote.
King of Black.
King of Black.
King of Black.
Ooh.
That's a lot of CGI and stuff involved in that. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, because we have to. Because I like the king, that guy, that evil guy.
No. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
If Marvel does it, they have to do that right. If they adapt that storyline, it has to be done right.
Well, as long as they don't do a Venom-ish, Null like they did in Spider-Man 3, just don't do that.
Yeah, please. It has to be done right. Let Kevin Feige and them take it over. Don't let Tony touch it. Just let it stay with.
Yeah, that's all right. So we have one more thing to talk about that me and Phil wanted to touch on. So if you haven't seen Thor: Love and Thunder yet, and you don't want to be spoiled, now's your time to leave.
Yeah, I might have to put it off then.
All right, because we don't want to spoil it for you, but we are going to give spoilers. So I'm giving everybody a chance right now, if they have not seen it and don't want spoilers, to leave now. If you're listening to the podcast, pause it, go watch the movie, and then come back and we will talk about it. All right, Darrell, thanks for coming on the show.
All right, thank you guys for having me.
Yep, and come back anytime, and we'll see you in a few weeks.
Okay, thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Hey, I'm gonna have a jet too, so take care of the kitties. But
all right,
I would say about Love and Thunder, the ending was a cop out to me. That's all I'm gonna say about it.
The regular the ending of the movie, right?
Yeah,
Not the post credit scenes. Okay.
yeah, it was a cop out.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. We'll touch on it. All right.
All right, man.
See you next week, Specs. All right, Phil.
All right. How much of a spoiler thing are we doing here?
We're going full out, man.
Okay.
I give everybody a
Make
chance.
sure everybody has a chance because they need to know because we're fixing to spoil the hell out of this thing.
And it's been opening weekend's over. I've seen other people who went to the premiere that Disney has let them go to the premiere,
Right.
and they've already been given the okay to spoil it. So if Disney lets them spoil it, I'm allowed to spoil it. All right. So, as we know, this is a loose adaptation of Jason Aaron's The Mighty Thor, where what's her? I can't think of her name. I was gonna call her Padme. Where Jane Foster becomes the Mighty Thor.
Yep.
And I told somebody else today, it was fun for what it was. It's a fun movie. I see a lot of people talking, about how bad it is and how this and that. I don't know when people started expecting the MCU movies to be good, like to actually be like movies.
Right.
They're just fun. I mean, when heck was that the big robots, Pacific Rim?
Yeah.
When that came out, I gave a review of it about how I didn't like this, didn't like that, and someone's like, it doesn't have to do that. It's just a summer blockbuster popcorn movie.
Right.
Like that's what this is. It's just a summer rom-com movie. It's Marvel's attempt to making a rom-com movie is what it is.
Right. Some background on it. We, me and my gal, we were trying to figure out what we were wanting to do. This past weekend, we decided we wanted to go see Thor. We were out and about. We looked at the tickets for it, and immediately whenever you look on Google for it or whatever, it gives you the reviews as well. And she's kind of reading through. Now, we've heard other reviews for other things that we actually enjoyed watching after the fact. We didn't take it, we took the advice and we didn't watch it in the theater or whatever. We waited till it come to streaming or whatnot, and then we watched it then, and kind of regretting not seeing it in the big screen. With this one, all that we were seeing was the bad reviews. There were no good reviews on it whatsoever. And we still said, you know what? They've been wrong before. We're going to go ahead and try this out. Mm-hmm. That being said, most of y'all that know me out here know I'm a very positive person, never negative, that kind of thing. I can be very honest in you telling you this right now. She and I both were looking at each other for the first hour to hour and a half in this movie. We kept looking at each other going, do you want to leave? It was not what we expected. I'm not saying we had a lot of expectations per se, but it's like watching a sitcom. It's like Seinfeld wrote the script for this thing. Taika, whenever he wrote this thing, of course, he's part of it as well. He's acting as, what's his name? Yeah, Gorg. But it was more of we know people in the industry, we're going to make a movie together type thing. It was almost like Kevin Smith went ahead and said, hey, let's have fun. Everybody just make a movie about nothing and just, with a bunch of CGI and graphics. And unfortunately, that's a lot of what it was. Even the character that Christian Bale was playing as Gore the God Butcher, there was some comedy elements to him that should never have been. He should have been the darkest thing ever for what happened to him in there and everything. And for him wanting the revenge on it. And he had some comedy parts in there, which I found very offsetting. It really took away from the storyline. But the biggest thing was, and this again, you've had your chance to leave, and if you haven't, I apologize right now, but the child that is left at the end. What Specs was talking about earlier, the child that was left at the end, and the very end thing where they go off. It's Thor and the child, and they're known as Love and
Thunder.
Are going and fighting this war on another world or whatever, and that's how it's let's go to into end credits. Immediately, my gal and I start looking online trying to find out who this child is. I mean, I'm trying to go through my brain going, I've never seen a comic with this child.
No, it's a character that they made just for the movie, and it's
found out,
and it's his daughter.
Exactly, it's his daughter, and he wanted a fun scene with his daughter,
so they can have like a
Wow, you know, I mean, it's nice to have that much money to be able to do that, but it doesn't have anything to do with the comic.
Yeah.
At that point, so it really threw us off as comic nerds watching this movie.
At the one point when she comes back, I don't remember the name of that character, but in the comic books, I want to say it was when they did one of those crossovers. That one girl it was when they did Secret Wars, like the one back in 2015 or whatever. There was a girl who came out like during that A-Force when they made the A-Force comic, and she looked like she was just like a galaxy kind of stuff. Do you remember that character? And when she first came back, that's what she looked like. So I thought that's who she was going to be.
Right.
And then it turned out not to be that.
Right.
And I was like, oh, well, that's not fun.
And I was kind of excited because I thought if they were introducing her as that, immediately I went into this, like you were saying, with the A-Force, and I was like, okay, we're already starting to introduce A-Force. This works.
Yeah.
And then for it to do what it did, it's kind of like you had the opportunity. You were given it to it, on a silver platter, and because you don't actually read the comics, that's what happened.
It was like, what? There was some things I did like. I mean, my big problem with the movie is there is no character development whatsoever.
No.
Like, I don't even know how to explain. Like, the opening scene with Gorn, that was so, like, powerful. And I was like, this is not like a Taika Waititi, this is not what I thought it was going to be. And I was like, if it keeps this tone through the whole movie, this is going to be a good movie.
Exactly.
And that's the best part of the whole movie.
Exactly.
Like, it's pretty sad. Like, this, visually, it's a great movie. Like, when they go to the Shadow Realm and they do that fight in the black and white with the shadows, and that's like a great thing. But just some of the choices of the storytelling and just like, I don't know.
But like you said, that set the tone at the very beginning, and you're going, wow, man, I am so happy that I bought these tickets and got into here to see this weekend. And then it started into the comedy show. I mean, the whole Seinfeld, routine started going through there. I swear I would have seen like Thor running into a door or something at some point and pulling a full Kramer at one point.
Yeah.
There was so much comedy involved, up to and including one of the most humiliating things that I've ever seen is Zeus.
Yes. Oh my God. I wanted to get on and talk about Zeus. Russell Crowe.
Freaking Crowe.
What? Like, what was that accent, first of all? That was not a Greek accent. And then that whole, like, dainty thing when he comes down the steps, he, like, lifts his skirt and, like.
And that was a skirt.
Yeah.
I want to point that out. This is not.
It was not a toga.
If you're going to watch this and you think it's a toga or you think it's a kilt or something, no, that is a full-on skirt.
Yeah.
And a cheap skirt at that. And he goes down there and like curtsies and holds it up while he's tippy-toeing down the stairs. And just that one moment alone, I was like, this is Zeus. This is the god of gods. And the most powerful being, and all of a sudden, this is what we're led down to.
And it's Russell Crowe. Like,
exactly.
You get Russell Crowe in an MCU movie, and this is what you do to him? Like,
yeah, it was that was rough seeing that on there. And I will say, if Disney, Marvel, anybody says anything about over-sexualizing women by going ahead and making them naked into movies and stuff like that, I don't want to hear a thing, because all I got to do is watch this movie, because whenever he flicks too hard and you see, the clothes come off, they show a full butt shot from behind.
And it's not like a blinking
And
and missing.
it's not a blink. You're sitting there staring at it while he's still talking, and I look over at my gal and I'm like, and she's looking at me going, and this is a kids movie? And I was like, there were kids in the theater and everything.
And just I don't know, the way that it was handled, like not so much that it happened, but the reaction of the female characters in that scene.
Yes.
Is what really made it cringe. Like you had Valkyrie, who is a lesbian, like reach over and start taking popcorn. Like, that makes no sense. Like, I was just like, but I think the only redeeming thing, at least for me, was the first post-credit scene when you see Russell Crowe again, and he didn't die from a lightning bolt through the chest.
Yeah.
And they introduce his son, Hercules, which Hercules is one of my favorite characters in the MC in Marvel Comics. So I was so glad to see him. But now I noticed a lot of people were talking about, because of the characters we've been introduced to in Phase 4, everyone's like trying to think of what they're going to do. You start thinking about the characters we've seen. We have Black Knight, we have Cersei, we have the White Vision. Now we have Hercules.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a certain Avengers team that we might be getting. So I was like, West Coast Avengers, anyone?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm interested to see what they're doing with that character, because I read, like, back in the day when Hercules was first introduced, he was a villain. He had the fight with Thor about who crosses a bridge first. Like, that's kind of like, that would be Thor, the next Thor movie. Perfect. I mean, that would be something stupid that they would fight about until they start giving each other compliments about how strong each other are, and then they became friends, because they practically are the same character. Like, when you look at them, they're this, they're the son of a god, of the god of gods, and it's just so it'll be interesting to see where the MCU goes from here. We did see Jane obviously die from cancer at the end, and she went to Valhalla, where she's met by
Heimdall.
Which his son is in this movie.
Yeah.
And if they didn't tell me it was his son, I would not know that was his son.
Right.
Because he just says you have your dad's eyes or something like I didn't even connect it.
Yeah.
And
which was true, because they did give him the same, cosmic looking eyes.
Yeah. So it was like, it took me a second to okay.
I will say this movie had one of the best soundtracks I've heard in a movie in a while. So there is that, at least, but it
was like all Guns N' Roses songs.
They really played off the 80s, 90s rock off of this. I mean, there was AC/DC in there. There was different things. And
Heimdall's son changes the name to Axel.
Yeah. But they, the scene where Thor is helping that one planet get rid of that other toward the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah. When it's with
the really stupid stuff out there to the music, montage going on. That's whenever I'm watching, I'm just shaking my head like I am now. I'm just going, no. The splits that he does and has them right there just holding, and he starts screaming at one or the other and lets them run into each other and blow up. And
I was so upset because when they started filming that and they seen pictures of him dressed like that, like in the vest and everything, I thought, he's going to be Thunderstrike.
Exactly.
And the more I watched that, I was like, he is supposed to be Thunderstrike. Like, he has the same, everything's the same, except for he has a Rock t-shirt on instead of the Thor shirt underneath. I was like, that's what it is. We're never going to see Thunderstrike. That was Thunderstrike. That's what I was like, this is terrible. Like, everyone thought we were going to see Beta Ray Bill in this movie. Nope.
Not a chance. Nothing. No. If he was in the City of the Gods, we didn't see him because of all the other stuff.
Yeah, stuff of gods I don't even know of. That would have been a perfect place to see, what's his name from Moon Knight?
Yeah.
In there somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
there was so much stuff that they could have done to try to tie it to the other movies, and they didn't do it. It's,
Right.
And then the second post-credit scene we see when we see her in Valhalla. So a lot of people think like that if they showed us that probably means she's going to come back.
Right.
Because in the comic books, if you don't know, she comes back. Well, first she comes back. Well, actually, she didn't actually get to die in the comic books because Thor and his father bring her back to life shortly after she dies. But she doesn't have the hammer anymore, so her cancer, she has cancer, but she goes through the chemo and she gets cured.
Yeah.
But then eventually she becomes a Valkyrie.
Right.
And that's what she is, how she is
The
now.
only thing with that, though, is that Natalie was actually quoted as saying that this is it, that showed that she was done playing the character.
I also saw, after that, they said Thor will return, right?
Right.
And he said whenever they saw that, he looked at Natalie and was like, are they talking about me or you? Because neither one of them are, signed to do anything else. Like this was it for them. So unless we're going to have a whole new Thor.
Well, they still have the Thor core that they could technically do, but technically they kind of did it with the kids in the movie. So
yeah.
Again, missed opportunity, but yeah.
Yeah, so it's
if you're going to go watch it and you just want to see a lighthearted, fun, laugh your ass off, that kind of thing, don't think of it as tying into anything at all. They give you a glimpse at the Guardians. So if you've seen that the Guardians are in there, the Guardians of the Galaxy are in there for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's like 15 minutes at the beginning.
Yeah,
and all the stuff that you've seen with him and talking to Star-Lord, where he's saying about how finding love and all that stuff, that wasn't in the movie.
Eyes. Yeah,
it wasn't in the movie. Like that was, so they've even cut less of them from that movie. So
yep. It's about 2.5 hours long. From what I read, they had cut about 45 minutes off of it, and I'm like, wow, what else did you have in there?
Yeah, probably just a bunch of crap. Obviously, it's probably the good stuff that they cut.
But hey, moving forward for the next Marvel movie that comes out, at least we've got Wakanda Forever, and we are anxiously waiting on San Diego Comic-Con is whenever they're supposed to make the official announcement on that, on what direction they're going, because they have been so freaking quiet on, are they bringing another character to play, T'Challa in there?
Well, that's the next movie that comes out, right? It comes out.
Yes, that one comes out in November.
Yeah, a few months. So
yeah.
I kind of like the way they're doing this, how they stagger it. Like it's a movie, then a Disney Plus show, then a movie.
Yep.
Like it seems like right when one ends, they're kicking into the next thing.
Yep.
So I guess we'll have a little drought here until She-Hulk.
Yeah. Well, and actually, Loki.
Yeah, but it's not. They're going to announce when that is out. I think at D23.
Right.
It won't be until like next year.
Right.
Yeah. So interesting to see where we go in the MCU.
And Doom. We finally get to hear about Doom.
Oh yes.
Please be good.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't he supposed to like appear in one of the upcoming things?
I believe so. That's the thing is we don't know right now is if Doom is actually going to be a movie or a show. They have not confirmed either way. I'm kind of hoping it's going to be the show because I want to see episodes of this and see how they're going to take it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got to be done right. You're talking about Dr. freaking Doom. You cannot do what's been done to him in the past again.
Yeah, like you have to have Latveria or whatever how you pronounce that.
Yep.
Like the other ones never even touched on that. Like he is a ruler of a nation. Like, he's not just a scientist that went into space with Reed Richards. Like or he didn't even go to space. That was only in the one movie. He had a lab accident.
Exactly.
And he made his armor because he was so scarred because of Reed Richards. And then when you finally see his face, He's got the snake eyes scar over one eye because he was so horribly disfigured. He had to make a suit of armor.
Yeah.
Well, I think we spoiled enough of that movie.
Oh yeah.
If you haven't seen it in theaters and you don't want to spend the money, if you just wait, it'll be out in Disney Plus. I think they said in 49 days from the opening day. So it should be like the middle of August-ish, end of August. It'll be out on Disney Plus, so you'll be able to watch it on there. Unless you're like one of these people who has to see MCU movies in theaters, I would wait for it. Luckily, the theater by my house has cheap days. I only paid $5 to see it, and I got popcorn.
Oh, you got off okay, man.
Yeah. So I don't usually go to the movies unless I can go that day because I can't afford.
Yeah, we made it a date night. Thank goodness she loves me because that would have ruined a date night.
Yeah, you wouldn't have any more date nights. Phil would be a single man. There is some neat stuff that when you start reading about that because what's her name? What's that actress's name? Now I can't think of her name. Natalie Portman. In the kissing scene, they said that Chris Hemsworth did not eat meat that day beforehand because she is a vegan. So he didn't eat meat, so they wouldn't do any of that. Some other neat stuff too. I was reading. Oh, asked her because he's going to be making a Star Wars movie, and he asked Natalie Portman if she's ever been in a Star Wars movie.
Seriously,
he did ask her, but it was it was a joke.
Yeah, she's been in 1 or 2
or 3.
Yeah, with flashbacks. So yeah, there's more.
Yeah, I mean, if you count the Obi-Wan show, she was like in that because they showed her like in flashbacks. So, I mean, her character was in a cartoon, like a whole 8 seasons of a cartoon. I mean, it wasn't her, but it was her character. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh well, I think we've been rambling long enough. 2.5 hours. This is our longest show ever.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully, we'll have a full crew next week. Jonathan had some technical difficulties prior to the show, so he had to miss. So we're gonna have to give him some extra homework this week.
Yes,
because this is like 3 out of the last 4 weeks he's missed. Skipping out on all of his homework. So I'm going to make sure I give him a little bit extra. I'm going to make up something that he has to read that none of us else have to read. So hopefully he's not listening to this. And so then next week, do we have a guest for next week? I know we do. I should have just kept this where I could see it.
Just go ahead and give him the curse words omnibus. It's like 1,000 pages on there.
We have 2 guests next week again. Dwayne Robinson Jr. I can't read my own handwriting, but he has a book, Nightfall. He'll be on the show, and Sam Willis, who was on my Friday show. Sam will be. Yeah, he was on the Friday show with us. He'll be on here next Wednesday.
Cool.
So that'll be next week. Friday show. I forget who we have on there. I did have Kurt Zauer will be on Fridays with Sorceress and Sabanian. Is that what it's? Spectress and Sabanian.
Sabanian. Yep.
So
1 through 4.
1 through 4. So he'll be on the show Friday. What did we pick for the fancast?
The Planet of the Symbiotes. Null.
Oh yes, that's it. The King of Black or one of those. I'll see what I have, and that's what we'll go with.
Yep.
Because there's nothing like picking a movie that's in the middle of a storyline. Like, so
you can pretty much just go with Planet of the Symbiotes because that's an older one anyway, and just use some of the symbiotes and
Yeah, so I'll see if I have that. I mean, I have a lot of that stuff, so I just got to see what I have. We'll have new books. Hopefully, I get all of the books this week, and so we'll have that to pick from. And I think that's it.
Cool.
So Phil, where can everyone can find you in the great interwebs?
As I got it listed on here, make it a little bit easier this week. Dark Enterprises, where it is right there. Just put that whole thing in there. Dark Enterprises, no space.com, and that's got links to everywhere to find me on there. That's where we have our business for online crowdfunding marketing. And then we're working on a few other things as well, but they are not being posted as of yet. Be looking for major changes on there in the next probably month or two. We're still working on locking in some stuff.
Very, very cool. And obviously, you can find me everywhere, either JW Sims or Hooligan Alley Comics. Also, you can get a hold of us on Twitter at, what is it again? I can never remember. At Comic Geeks Podcast, I think. Or that's,
you had one that you had to take off because it was already being used.
yeah, I can't remember. Maybe I'll put it. I probably should know this because it's our Twitter.
I think it's Comic Podcast Geeks.
Something
Podcast
like
Geeks. I think so.
Comic
Where it is.
Comic Podcast Geeks, probably. I don't know, but I guess I should know that for next time, so that way people can actually find us. But we are gonna put the fancast this week, all of our picks on there on Facebook. I'll probably have it on Instagram and the TikTok, and we will see what you fans think who should play those parts. Be interesting to see, and we will announce those the fan picks for next week on next week's show. So have fun, have a good weekend, stay safe, go read some comic books. Today, is comic book day, new comic book day. So get out there and support your local comic book stores and conventions. Get some of those great indie books from all the creators that are there. And have a good weekend.
Cool.
See you. Bye-bye.